now. Holy shit, folks.
I always remind people, I am suspended for life for minor hockey.
It's my duty to please the booty.
Did you catch a rattlesnake and then drive home with it in your car holding it the whole time?
Yep.
Phil only drinks Coke. He doesn't drink water. I'll fucking quit.
Fugazis.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 451 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. And now the end is near, and so I face.
Thank God.
RA's been in the weirdest mood for the last
RA's
2 weeks.
Fucking
Dude.
menace to society.
It's over, man. The season's done. Free agency started. I mean, a little wistful. It's nice to get some time off, but how are we feeling, Merles? Let's go to you first.
Well, let's talk. Why don't we talk about you having conversations with yourself in the Spittin Chiclets group chat, at like 3 a.m. What's up with you, RA? Have you stopped drinking since you left Nashville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday, I said to the group, I was like, boys, if we need one tonight, I think I had one more rabbit than had. I couldn't believe, Biz, how fucking good I felt when I got home, considering the week down there. And I'm an old man. The hangover gods didn't hit me at all. I deserved one of them. Never got one.
Well, yeah, you've been training all season for it. And that was your, big shebang bang at the awards, the draft, and then you just kept going right into the sandbagger. Of course, he was the drunkest guy on the golf course when we were there.
You
with
guys could see this dude at this golf course.
Will we have footage of it on the sandbagger, like for sure? Or is he in the background?
What do you mean? He is the sandbagger. We're just
No
playing
golf shots in
golf
this one.
around his drunken buffoonery.
Army,
Sure, I
at
was
one
taking
point,
orders.
I want to say, I think it was the 10th. It was the 10th tee, and we started on 2. So it was our 9th hole.
He's got the sweat rag on him right now, Will. Show us your sweat rag.
Because my
sweat
AC's
rag,
not on.
dude.
It's 100 degrees up here, Biz. My wife's fucking freezing when the AC's on.
That's
My Barry
rag.
White rag. That's the
I'm
movement,
waking
buddy.
up, Biz, in the middle of the night, and ironically, I wake up and he's texting the group, talking to himself. But I'm waking up to a nightmare of that sweat rag, dude. That thing haunts my
Oh yeah,
dream.
he showed me the secret tip of the pros when he was in Nashville. He stole one of the towels from his hotel room and he had it. Borrowed. He brought it back for sure, but like he was using it. He goes tip of the pros. You take a hotel room towel and use it as a sweat rag.
RA invented the Gatorade towel. He snuck into one of the Stanley Cup rooms with it, and they're like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's my sweat rag." And the trainer was like, "That's a genius idea."
Oh,
And that's how the Gatorade towel
He's
started.
like, not one.
We have this all in the
sorry.
sandbagger, but at one point, Getzlav asked RA to use his towel. He takes his towel, spits in it, hucks a loogie in it to clean his ball, gives it back to RA. I think RA, I don't know if he was so drunk or he forgot. 2 seconds later, wiping his face with all his spit in there.
Oh my
Safe to say my job as commissioner of food and beverage for the Sandbaggers is safe.
I
after
don't
missing
know.
that
He
one.
was
you
actually
think?
while being the most fucked up person in Tennessee, like he was getting shit done. Like, yeah, Merz, you're the sandbagger guy, but in terms of his first appearance, I think he got like an A+ and an F- at the same time. I don't even know how to describe it, but on the 10th tee, Gurnelli comes up to me and RA, rah, 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 and he's like, "Hey, the fans want RA to hit a shot, so he's going to hit a shot for every single guy."
Oh,
like,
my
you
God.
decide when he has to hit a shot for Bieksa or Getzy, and I was like, "No." I said, "Absolutely not."
It was
I'm
the
not
worst
doing
idea
that.
he'd ever heard in his life. The look of disgust on your face, and I felt bad because G presented the idea where
It's
I'm
a
like,
great idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think on
I
YouTube.
fucking hate it.
Well,
I
here's
was
the-
on your face, Whit. I thought you were going to fire me on the spot.
No,
No, you
RA's
did.
like,
You're
"Okay,
done."
that's what the fans want. Fucking fans want it, but no, okay."
I probably would have striped it 350 straight down the middle at that condition.
Oh yeah.
If it's anything like your basketball abilities that everyone was roasting you for in Nashville,
Yeah.
guys,
I had a blast anyway.
It's
Either way.
known as it was the 2023 Connor Bedard draft, but the real storyline was RA's basketball shots and multiple like NHL GMs, presidents, all-stars like, "Dude, what's up with your basketball skills?" I had to tell him it was a medicine ball.
Here, I can run a clip right now of Ryan Reeves chirping him at the bar from Nashville.
You threw it and you're like, "Oh, I don't got to warm up." That shit been like 45 centimeters.
That type of ball and that type of moisture, it's just simple.
There's no way you ever played basketball.
All right, I know everybody's ragging on your basketball skills. I think your real sport is marathon walking, and you were raving about what was it your Whoop bracelet? Like what bracelet's telling you how much you walked over the course of?
He was ordering Ubers and they wouldn't let him get in. He was too fucked up. That's the only reason he walked everywhere.
The one they spring load on the Apple, I don't get any of the extra ones. And I looked, just curiosity, and I almost shit when I added them up. 40.7 miles between Sunday and Friday. I didn't count Saturday because when we went to the airport. Like almost 41 miles. That's crazy amount of walk.
RA was justifying the 30 drinks a day by saying that when you had to go to like Tootsie's and these other bars, well,
just walk them off.
All you kept talking about was the fact that you had to walk upstairs. He's like, you know how many fucking stairs are in this city? All you kept talking about were the stairs.
But it was the positive part of it because you're getting buckled, you're eating like good food all week, but it really is. You're getting exercise because there's so many stairs. You don't need the elevator. There are a lot of fucking stairs at that Aldean's.
So I also think one of my favorite moments of the week was RA did a hell of a job. He lined us up at dinner. And he got us a great table, and he ended up getting a standing ovation from the entire restaurant at this during this dinner.
Now it's officially the dinner heard around the world. We're even talking about it still.
It's better than the Last Supper right now, the way the story's going.
and so RA's he's ordering the food too. So he's like, I think everyone wants a big old seafood tower. Great. I think we got 2 of them, and he started really crushing some lobster cocktail. Now, at some point, it went down the wrong tube. So here we start. Telling a story. I'm like, oh, fuck. Merle's is next to him. So Merle's has to get up and hose. Well, while Merle's was up in the bathroom, I said, all right, you got to figure this out. Are you choking or not? No, I'm fine. All of a sudden, dude, a piece of lobster, I'm telling you, it was the thing's entire tail, comes flying out of his mouth and just buries Merle's chair. If Merle's was sitting there, would have hit him in the nose.
Even I was like, holy shit.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, that was in your throat. He's like, oh, I feel better now.
Started fucking shelling it back in.
Hey, that's such a great story.
And he reached down the chair and he ate it.
There were actually quite a few highlights. One of my favorite ones was Merle's. You've talked about Sheldon Keefe on this podcast before and how he tried to kick you in the midst of a hockey game. So you've always mentioned how you think he's a lunatic. Well, we end up walking to one of these bars on what's the main drag there?
Broadway.
Well, Biz, also you're forgetting that he always said, if I ever meet that guy, I'm bringing that up.
He eye gouged me. He eye gouged me after a fight, and then he got suspended for the rest of the series. So then he couldn't play in the game, so he tried to fight me in the snack bar after Game 6 before Game 7. So he was trying to be in the series still.
Whit, you have to tell it. You tell it better if you walk.
So we were at that was at Kid Rock's. And so Merle's had always mentioned, like, when I see that fucking guy, I'm going to say something to him. I'm like, yeah. Well, I'm walking down the stairs, and I'm about 50 yards away, and I see Merle's and Sheldon Keefe talking. I'm like, wow, I wonder if he's just, like, actually stepping to the plate. And as I walk by, all I hear is, you fucking eye gouged me and tried kicking me in the fucking head. What the I'm like, holy shit, he's doing it.
First thing. Made a beeline for Sheldon.
Right for him.
By the way,
I got to do it.
What a
I talked
beauty
the big
this guy
game.
is.
I've been all over that guy. That guy's
awesome.
the man.
He was
guy's
awesome.
The man.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, did you guys see when he first? I was with Busy, and we kind of like got broken up. Like I feel like I was working it with Busy. He came right off the awards, so he's still in his gear, like the jean jacket with the fur.
Yeah, broke
top.
back Busy.
Yeah. And anyways, I wheel into Kid Rocks with him. We're looking for you guys. You guys are like, where are you guys? Texting us and stuff like, Busy, they're in here and here. Busy hasn't hit Broadway the entire time pretty much too. So he's like a kid in a candy store. He's going nuts. There's people everywhere. Buddy. It's a gong show. He's ready to let it rip.
First night I drank.
Yeah. So we come out of what's a main place everyone was talking about? Everyone's giving shout outs.
Aldean's?
No.
Tootsie's.
Tootsie's. We come across the street. It's a cage match. We're working our way across. Like the streets are shut down. Still busy. He's got his cowboy hat on. Yeah. He's 6'4". Everyone's looking at him. He's just a star of Broadway. We get in there. We walk right to the back. There's like, other coaches. There's hack stalls there. Other guys are in there that just coming off the awards too. Everyone's kind of lingering, mingling, having a good time. busy. We walk right into Sheldon Keefe at the back. He's there with like David Lagwan, who like was just,
Oh yeah, he was more buckled than RA.
Yeah. I've never met him before, but that was the first time I met him. But anyways, we walk in there. Busy goes belly bumping him.
Oh,
you want to fuck with me? He starts belly bumping Kiefer right away.
We're belly bumping buddies now. I'm off the Doobie train and I'm on the Sheldon Keefe train.
Yeah.
I was so thrilled after not only meeting him, but the fact that did they extend him, or they just basically said that he's not going anywhere?
He's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere. I'm love that they're sticking. Hey, full-fledged beauty. Are you now buddies, Merles? Are you guys?
Yeah,
your
we
belly buddies
passed that
too?
up. We put our
Hockey guy
16-year-old
style.
battle away, and yeah, I had a great time talking with him, and he was such a fun guy. So I'm back on the Leafs a little bit.
When
the
the
mouth
only
up.
thing he had to do was he got the fish hook him back. So they went to the bathroom and right inside the door, he just gave him a little fish hook back and they were even.
Merles is like, all right, on 3, I'm going to do it for 7 seconds. And then after that, they hugged it out.
Army, you had Vegas voice pretty bad. You were a nervous wreck in the
freaking
group
out.
chat because you had to do a Sportsnet hit at the draft.
Yeah, so the night before, the great RA dinner, the great RA, like, can we talk? By the way, remember when we got to the dinner place? He's like, I swear to God, it's just up here. It's just up here. We're trekking that
It
hill,
was
and then we
3
get
miles
there.
up a hill.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
get
that's
there.
where you got all your walking in, you idiot, when you brought us to that fucking restaurant.
He's like,
twice.
best filet. I swear to God, filet, greatest filet ever.
It was
But we
a
get
good
in there
filet.
and we're like, where are we? We don't know. And then RA's like sketching around this like lobby, and then he wheels over to the wall. There's like a crack in the wall, and he like sticks his little like Schmiegel fingers in there, and he just claws the door open, and it's like a secret wall doorway into this restaurant in the back door. I was like, this is unbelievable.
Well,
He's like,
but
I
when we
know
got
it's
into the
somewhere around
lobby,
here.
he didn't know. He didn't know.
He's like,
He goes,
There's
where's
a
the
front
I go,
door there.
you were here last night, RA. What do you mean? He's like, I don't know. I thought it was right here.
Yeah, I forgot that was the front door.
Well,
I
that
went
was
to the
when
secret
RA
door.
went to go see his buddy, and then another guy saw him, and he's like, no, I just saw RA ripping around Broadway. What was that, Merles? Who was that?
He's like, I gotta go see my buddy for dinner, and like, oh yeah, he went to find his pot guy or something.
We
We should have
Okay,
known right
let's
then. That
also
was
say-
Sunday.
Let's also say that when we chatted with everyone last week, that was after one night in Nashville. That's the best party city in the United States. That dummies Vegas. I mean, if you've never been to Nashville, I'm with my brother-in-law. We're over in Nantucket right now. I'm telling him, like, dude, there's 150 bars. They all have 4 floors. Every floor's got a different live band going on.
Yeah.
And they're all within, I don't know, less than a mile, it seems like.
Yeah.
So in terms of like a place to have the awards in the draft, they should actually have it every year there.
Agreed. I agree.
incredible party city. And
I agree.
the amount of people though at the draft awards combo that you end up running into from the past. Like even a few days after I left Nashville, like my memory was like, oh yeah, like Eric Goddard we bumped into.
I saw Gods. I saw
Yeah, he
Gods.
scouts
Yeah,
for
roommates.
Golden Knights, I think, right?
Yeah, I think he's scouting now. So like, just to get to bump into all these guys you've ever either played with or who have coached you or you coach your favorite team who you've never met and you're now belly buddies. it was just a remarkable 5-6 days, and we haven't even touched on the draft because as you mentioned, we recorded right after that award ceremony, so we never even got to the first round of the NHL draft on Wednesday.
Wait, I'll say this though. You asked me, Busy, about the draft day. Whit and I left early. This is now Tuesday night. Whit says I got to go home. I'm like, yeah, it's still kind of early. It's like 12:30. So he's like golf speed walking out of the place. I'm trying to catch up. I catch up to him like a block from the hotel finally, and we walk in the hotel together. I go to my room. Wake up in the morning, boys. I got Vegas voice.
Oh,
I couldn't even talk. I was freaking out. Went for lunch with Whit and our boy Benny Boma. Ran into him on the sidewalk, went for lunch. Full mind freak the rest of the time. I'm freaking out. I don't know if I can do like my work. I have to do a YouTube live streams for Sportsnet for like 3 hours straight. And my voice was just struggling. So I was on the Merle's cough drops. I was on the tea. I was trying everything to get it back, and I know you guys stayed longer. I
had
can't wait
no
to hear about
voice.
this. You guys were
when
struggling.
you see the sandbagger, my intro, it's actually pathetic. Like to
Patty
be
and Selma.
40 years old and not be able to talk, it's so ridiculous. And I got home, and Ryder's like, Dad, what happened to your voice? And I just heard my wife in the kitchen. She's like, don't even ask. I was like,
But that's the thing there too, right? Busy. So you played it professional the first few nights. I don't know how RA doesn't get Vegas voice. Have you ever heard his?
Neither do I. And
How
he's
the hell?
yelling
Because he doesn't speak. Because he
not
just
used to
marble
it.
mouth the whole time.
That's the cadence.
I
We
do
should
a lot of
just
talk
all
on my
start,
feet on the dance floor. Dude, I
You don't
boogied
even
like I was
use
at a
your
wedding
throat.
all week.
That's why he doesn't use his throat. He just uses his tongue.
But that's the thing there too, Busy. You have to yell because it's so loud in every bar, every honky tonk. There's a live band on every floor, and they're small. So any guy you talk to, and if, like you said, you ran into so many guys that you played with that are scouting or wherever that you have to like lean in and pretty much like yell into their neck,
Yeah.
so that they could hear
that was
you.
the problem.
That was the problem.
Wait, that video of the guys playing with my bald head when I was screaming "Zombie" the Cranberry song. Where was that? Like, who were those dudes? I kind of got a
somebody
little fuzzy that
DM me.
night.
Look at RA. Just look at him. That was the message. And I played the video. I'm like, holy shit! It was at like 2:50 in the morning too. The thing about RA is, so Tuesday night when I left early with an army, you followed me.
Yeah.
I was wrecked. And I was talking to Rick Nash. And I realized, like, I was sweating. I needed RA's sweat towel, and I could tell, like, Nash, who had just come from, like, meetings prior to the, night before the draft, he was just kind of like, this guy's kind of wrecked. Like, I was like, oh, you got drafted first overall, fucking 20 years, that was crazy. And then I could just, you could tell people's reaction when you're talking, like, hey, like, give me some space. So I was like, all right, I'm done. All right, I don't even get how you get worse than I was at that moment, and then you go for like 5 more hours. Like, how are you still out when you marble mouth and sweating everywhere? Like, I don't even get how you're able to stay in the public.
I have a theory, and I think the Nashville adrenaline. I know. Jokes, whatever. Like, no, I smoked a couple bones down there, drank beers, tequila. That's all I did all week. I swear to God, that city adrenalizes you.
Not
It
one
keeps you going,
key-toke.
dude.
Not one key-toke.
Dippity doo dah.
Good for you, RA.
Dude, and that's like I just
Get
stay
the
like
lie
just
detector
keep going.
test in
Honestly,
there.
with the music, the band, it's just so lively and active. Like it just keeps your adrenaline going. I mean, I stayed out fucking pretty late, 5 out of 6 nights, and then Thursday was the only night I stayed in because we had the sandbag. The next day, there was no way I was gonna fuck that up, and so I had it. So I had to get drunk twice on Friday to offset this on Thursday. So,
Hey boys, I was just looking through the group chat and Busy was chirping them. Saturday at 10:40 p.m. Over under on the miles I walked by me Sunday to Friday in Smashville. 33.4. Any action? No action. No one says a word.
Zero replies.
No one says a word. Then the next day in the afternoon at 1:30 in the next day in the afternoon. Over
Everybody woke up.
cashes.
Over cash. There's been no bets, sir. There's been no bets.
we took that off the board yesterday, sir.
Let's also not forget that, as Biz mentioned, he'd been sober for 4 or 5 months.
Can anyone
Biz-
turn it on like me?
Biz,
Unreal.
I need you to go sober again. I can't be around you like that.
Oh my! In terms of people being rusty drinking, like you may be like the McDavid of just drinking again. I would say you slept in the 5 nights I was there like a combined 9 hours. I would say.
Yeah, that's probably.
Like when you go, you go.
Yeah, after the awards, he was ready to rip. He was
And then
speed walking. He was strutting. He was smiling. He was like just ready to go. And
He's
I
been
was there
talking
for
about
the
this
show.
week for months too. He's like, that's when I'm letting it
Even
loose
Friday
again. And as
after
we're
this-
leaving, he's like, okay, back on the wagon.
Yeah, back on for a little bit. But Friday, even after the sandbagger and how hot it was and how buckled we got, I got hour nap when I got home and I just floored it because I knew my flight was Saturday morning. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to join RA and go all in, that was probably the most we've hung out on the road in a long time. And I'll say it's a blast. You just, you never know what you're going to get.
No,
You're putting your life in his hands, and it's like going on a fucking roller coaster ride to death.
You texted me, what was it, Wednesday afternoon, like 3. You're like, I just get up, like, rap one, meet me at the corner, let's go get some beers. I was like, all right. I was like, we were like Han and Chewy walking around fucking.
Well, okay,
Nashville.
so that and that leads into the draft, which we should probably get to.
Yeah.
Is that the first thing we're going to be talking about?
Guys, Whit's here, and I'm back to talk about Pink Whitney, the drink of the summer. And we just had a sandbagger. We've already mentioned it. We do birdie juice on birdies. We actually even did a couple net birdie juice shots, and we were ripping it. It was 110 degrees, yet an ice-cold Pink Whitney shooter still tastes better than ever. So I'm telling you, I'm talking golf. I'm now over on Nantucket. It's a beach spot. Everyone's out on the beach. Last night, 4th of July, I had the Pink Whitney going. Right, you get the Pink Whitney bottle with the fireworks and the American flag. Or maybe on Canada Day, you guys had your big old Canadian flag up there, and you're just enjoying the water, the weather, the sand, your friends, alcohol. Pink Whitney is that alcohol. I already told you guys, too. You got the rest of the summer to bring it to the lake. I'm not ever going to forget the lake people again, the pontoon people. They love drinking. Don't be drinking and driving the boat. That's a no. But if you're just riding the boat and getting a ride, hammer that Pink Whitney down your guzzle. Keep on drinking it. Keep on supporting us. We can't thank you enough. It is the drink of the season, no matter the season. And it is also named after me. So thank you so much for your support, and shout out to Pink Whitney.
It was so fun to get banged up and go to the draft and like see all these kids live out their dreams. And there was some, I don't want to say like a ton of chaos as far as trades, but maybe some surprise that were off the board picks and in a very deep first round.
Well, can we talk about your club, Biz, or one of your clubs, the Arizona Coyotes, and everyone dressing like the Hamburglar from fucking McDonald's? I mean, not to mention they take 2 Russians that everyone thought would go way later in the first round with their like 2 high picks. They're dressed in whatever color that is, in the same suit, all of them. I mean, that organization can't get out of their own way. It's unbelievable.
I'm kind of upset I didn't get a suit
like that.
Those are the pledges, Whit.
I'm upset I didn't get a suit.
Last year they did all like blue, like baby dark blue, kind of like a Leafs blue. I don't know why, and they look like Delta flight
It was my
attendants.
recommendation.
Was that you?
Yeah, the Leafs blue.
This year they
got 10% off on all the suits.
Yeah, they went raspberry this year. It's kind of a little.
Not to mention where we were sitting, Bettman could like hear and see us like yelling at everyone walking up, and you could tell he's like, "What the fuck?
Get these goons out of here.
What is Chiclets doing there?
Get these guys out of here." But yeah, Biz, let's get to the draft. Then we'll tell you we have Adam Fantilli, Leo Carlsson, and Ryan Leonard coming up a little bit later. We Carlsson and Leonard at the same time. Our buddy Matt Cade is their agent. So a couple of the draftees coming up, but Chicago, Bedard, no surprise there. But Merles, Leo Carlsson, you've been talking about for 2 years now. Goes number 2. You're a proud papa there.
EBR, yeah, a couple clicks for EBR, boys.
Yeah.
Wow, you are what a year Merle's had. Most improved player for sure. We should give out our own fucking awards here.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of it, I was truly surprised that he went number 2. I mean, what Fantilli did, Hobie Baker as a freshman leading scorer, we talked about it, the 2 guys that had done it before, Correa and Eichel, and I thought it was done deal. Fantilli had set 2, but then as we were there, we had our boots on the ground, everybody started telling us Will Smith is going to go number 2. So then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, well, he's going number 2. It still leaves Carlsson at 3. But then I heard they didn't want him at 3. So then I was all over the board. I made 2 20-1 bets. I had Will Smith at 2 and Fantilli going to 4. And they all missed in it. And I should have stuck to my guns. My original EBR draft rankings, I had Bedard, Carlsson. I'm an idiot, but congrats to Carlsson, congrats to Sweden, and congrats to the Ducks, who got a hell of a player.
Hell of a player. And we have him on this podcast, correct? We're dropping him later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I mean, what a brave kid too. Obviously he's got the stutter in English. From my understanding, he had one in Swedish, but worked with a speech therapist and has kicked the stutter in Swedish. So for him to have the balls to do it and not be shy to come on the pod and rip it, I fucking love it. So congratulations to him, and I wish him all the best there. And he got to model off their new jerseys after, or bringing him back to the OGs. Wasn't crazy about him at all. Like, I thought that those were kind of lame duck.
Was he wearing too? He was wearing at development camp. Development camp, he was wearing USA skates. Did you see that, Murr?
Really?
No, I didn't.
That was Will Smith, wasn't it?
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
it was Will Smith. It was Will Smith.
Yeah, that was Will
My
Smith.
bad.
guys.
Hey, take
It was
a lap,
Will
Barney.
Smith.
Take a lap.
Sorry.
Take a loser lap. That's what we do here.
All I'm
No, you
hearing
actually have to do one.
is Carlson's kind of like Kopitar 2.0, like just a giant center. And being from Sweden, he talks about it in the interview how crazy defensive oriented like the development and the SHL is over there. Where we mentioned like very rarely are there odd man rushes. If you're not good defensively, you're not going to play. And so you got this big center with all this skill. And then they're also seeing a guy who can play defense, Selke Trophy nominee type guy. And I mean, I think it was kind of like a camp. It seemed like the top 5 or top 4 at least were can't miss. Like you're kind of winning either way. I think Will Smith's going to be a stud. Got to hang out with him.
What a stallion.
What a guy.
All-American.
This guy is the smoothest cat I've ever met for that age. He's just a great kid. We're going to play golf later this summer. But I'm saying, like, obviously Bedard was one. After that, I mean, you're getting an awesome player either way, all of them being centers. So I think that the Carlsson Fantilli thing, you can look to the future now, and Will Smith also, like, who will be the best in 10 years. But like I said, I think it's a win-win for all those teams.
Well, and it was cool to get to hang out with Fantilli after going third to Columbus. And from my understanding, too, he really wanted to go to Columbus. You know, it's I think it was Kevin Bieksa we were talking to on the golf course during the Sandbagger who said it would be hard to start your career as a young guy going from, like, let's say, playing at Michigan, and all of a sudden you're in California, where when you leave the rink, like, you don't really feel like a superstar. You don't really feel like you're in the mix of an NHL season given the weather. And even, like, I guess, like the fandom, like being recognized out in public, right? So he's going from Michigan right to Columbus. That's a quick rip. And talk about a kid. Columbus has to be thrilled to have a guy who's thrilled to be in Columbus because, you know, guys, that's not always the case. So you got Johnny Gaudreau signs there and wants to be there. You got Fantilli. You got Werenski locked in. Like, this Columbus team is looking excellent for the future. And they're just going to keep adding pieces around these young studs. So
a lot of Michigan Wolverines on that Columbus team.
Yeah,
Kent Johnson, Blackenberg. Like, there's a bunch of Michigan guys for him.
Bunch of guys coming up. So thanks, G. And then we got to hang out.
And they picked his best friend. They got his best friend, Brindley, 33rd overall, I believe, or 34th overall from Michigan. So, like, these two, like, and so he came to the party. They were talking shit about Sandbagger action. I'm like, guys, don't even talk to me right now. We'll worry about you once you prove yourselves in the show. But then getting to meet Fantilli's dad, who he talks a lot about in the interview you guys will hear, who kind of meant so much to his career. Like, I could totally tell talking to him for 10 minutes. I was with Michigan coach Brandon. Is it Naruto? How do you say it, G?
Yeah, that's correct, Whit.
Yeah. So he's honestly a great guy. He was saying, like, yeah, hopefully he comes back, but he is ready, and, like, we don't really expect him to be. And obviously, since then, he's already signed with Columbus. But he's a great kid, and I think you'll hear in the interview, like, a truly mature 18, 19-year-old, whatever he is, and who and his maturity, you could tell, comes from his family and his friends. And getting to meet all those people, it was exciting. So I had a blast being down there. And what really was cool for me in terms of the draft was, like, I remembered my draft, and Army, you'll say the same, Merle's, Biz, you're so excited. Like, it's the best time of your life. Like, it's all you've thought about since you're, 12, 13 years old. So then you see all these kids who their dreams come true, and they're basically as high as you could ever get, not like RA high, but just high on life. And you get to kind of experience that and almost bring back memories to when I was younger and had all that enthusiasm and optimism looking towards the future. So that's what I really enjoyed about meeting all the kids.
And how about drinking with all the guys, the 3rd and 4th round picks, the 5th round picks at, I think it was Kid Rock's after, and all of them showed up in their jerseys. All from the national program. So we were with, like, I think the national program had, I don't know, like 12, 13 kids drafted. They're all together. They all have their jerseys on. Will Smith didn't. But everyone else has their jerseys on. All of a sudden, they get kicked out because someone's like,
after I said the fake ID thing. After I said the fake ID thing to Bedard, I made about $6,400 printing fake IDs for all these young kids who got drafted. It's a racket. I'm telling you, you can make some good money at the drafts. Those guys want to go out and celebrate. I think eventually the bar caught on that all these kids had jerseys on. They're like, it's you guys got to go. So I guess sorry to throw these guys under the bus, but hey, if you're looking for an NIT deal, I'll get you the Big Deal Brewing sponsorship in no time. Is that what they call it? NIT deals?
NIL. Guys, before we move on from the draft, I do just want to say I think the steal of the draft was the New York Rangers at 23 getting that Gabe Perreault kid. I mean, he was breaking records at the U.S. program. He just seems like an absolute stud. We got to talk to him for a bit after as well, and he seems super excited to get to New York.
Was he the kid who looked like he was 40 years old?
No, that's not him.
No.
Colby, that's
who went to the Jets? Barlow.
Yeah.
He was 40 years old.
Yeah, I saw Chris Drury on my flight, and I told him, I go, Witt's calling your guy the steal of the draft. I'm like, great draft. And he looked at me like, Jesus, get home, kid.
Yeah, so these guys, most of them, you're right, Merles. That's one thing, Witt, in talking about the draft. I was just like, holy shit, these guys are so young. You know,
they
looking
look
at,
even younger now.
I know. I'm like, geez, was I that young? Holy God.
They're-
these guys
they're
are-
all-
Army, you
they're
looked
all-
really
they're all
But you look
petite.
pretty young, dude. In your
They're all
draft picture,
petite.
you look young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all
I
tiny.
got a baby face, but they're just like so young, like little Will Smith's little cute smile. Like I was just like, damn, this guy's like 15. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then of course the mix, the shakeup at the top with the Swede going second, okay, and then there was fifth with Carey Price and the Habs come up and they take David Reinbacher. I'm like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? Austrian kid. And he already signed. He already signed an entry-level contract.
I know, but he's already in.
He's 2 years.
He has to play at least another year in Switzerland.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
that's correct.
And let's get ahead of or talk about the Carey Price fumble. I felt so bad for him because you could tell he felt horrible. And then like Kent Hughes, the way he's like, oh, we meant to do this. It kind of shriveled him even more. Like maybe just whisper the name in his ear.
Yeah, why didn't someone yell the name?
I was
at that
convinced.
point you're just panicking because you're like,
his
we gotta
brain
get the
was
name out there.
screwed. But someone in the line of all the 40 guys standing behind him just go Reinbacher.
We
It's
could have
easy.
yelled it. We were sitting close enough, and it was like time stopped. We could have.
Can you
yelled
imagine
it
all
to
the
him.
Davids sitting there, like all the Davids in the draft? They're all like, he's like David, and then they're like, David, and then he double
We're
clutched
like, all
again.
right, sit down. Your name's
Sound.
Brian.
But I've done this I've done this
Not that
probably
nice.
6 times, guys, on national TV. Never mind having to deliver French off the get-go. So he came up, he said hello in French, of course, with the Montreal contingent, and then he was moving on to call the name of the player they were going to select. And I think you could see his face kind of glitch. I felt bad because I've done that like 5 times
Every
on national
fucking
TV
podcast,
where my
60
brain
times.
blanked out completely, and you're just like you're dying. You're literally
You're stuck.
panicking,
You're stuck.
dying. You're stuck. Your brain isn't working, and that's what he was doing. And no one gave him a life raft. No one. And then Kent Hughes had to come.
Yeah, we meant to do this. We meant to make him look like an idiot.
Yeah. Elliot Friedman said he was pretty broken up about it, and then a fan right after asked for a picture, and he went right over, like, wasn't a dick to it, took a picture. He's having this real low moment, so he took the picture with But Biz, would you rather completely butcher a name like that or totally forget it? Forget it like he did, or
Like I
butcher
just
it?
said, like the amount of times that's happened to me on national television where Liam has to come in and save me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say, hey, 2 things here, and I say the first thing, and I'm like, I completely forgot what the second thing was. I have to stop saying 2 things here. I just or write them the fuck down. So I mean, RA, but yeah, maybe a little bit of an embarrassing moment if you're not getting up and doing that much public speaking. But hey, it's water under the bridge. And you said you weren't very gullible when it was Kent Hughes who came up and said, "Oh, we planned that."
Yeah.
Wasn't it you? I looked at it, I said, oh, okay, it makes sense. Like maybe they were trying to make a little joke, and you're like, no, Biz, he's just trying to fucking help him out. I was like, oh,
And
okay.
of all the people, too, I thought with the Nashville theme, Pricer, known to dress up pretty country western, wear the cowboy gear. He was looking polished. He was looking GM material. He was looking management
Rumor
material,
mill?
I will say. Should we start? Yeah, maybe.
Rumor mill?
I mean, he's making the picks. He's got the nice outfit on. He looked the part. Just
They'll be
needless to
working
help.
player development now after fumbling that name.
Yeah.
Nicer suits than the next team up. At
So that
number
was
6.
Hey, are you guys actually ragging on the matching suits? I'd be curious to know how many people listening would
I
dress
kinda
in
liked
matching.
it.
Well, all right, what do you make of the matching suits?
What
I just
matching
asked-
suits?
I just said to Whit, were those guys pledging like the Coyote fraternity at Arizona State wearing all the same clothes? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's grown men. I get the team spirit and all that, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't change anything. You're not going to do your job any better. But
It's
if it
team
works for them,
camaraderie.
great. But
Makes it
yeah,
fun
I mean,
at the draft.
that's all.
I like
and then
it.
just something to get ranked on.
And
Speaking
then
of top-
I'd say the last major storyline of the draft was Mitchkov falling to 7. And apparently, I think he made it clear like what teams he wanted to play for. That's a little bit of listening to rumors, but Philly was one of them. And I kind of loved him going to Montreal or Philly because I think maybe in 3 years they'll be real good, and that's when he'll be coming over, Kaprizov style that we've talked about. So I think that's a pretty sick pick for Philly because if this kid's what they say, and 3 years ago it was like him and Bedard as possible #1 competition, and then he's got all this skill and all this ability, and the whole Russian factor obviously changes things. But Philly gets a guy, and by that point, Torts will be long gone. And hopefully in 3 years when he does come over, he's ready to dominate right away. So I did like that pick a lot.
Well, we got to talk about him a little bit. So he was the second best scorer in the draft. More than likely dropped back not just because of the amount of time he still has to spend in Russia, but there is some character issues here
Big time.
that have been coming up. Like, have we talked about the fact that apparently he like kicked one of his teammates?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that story, Merles? You're our European correspondent.
No, I haven't heard the kicking part.
Yeah, so
I
he's
gave
a
up
bit
on
of a
Russia this year because of the political climate, but no, I hadn't heard that one.
So he's a bit of a loose cannon.
Listens to nothing, Biz. Like, I guess like coaches are telling him stuff, veterans fuck off. Like, so there was big time rumblings, and even I was able to kind of read a message from a guy he played with this year that was like, this kid, like, as much as I'm trying to give him a shot, is a piece of shit. So I've never met him.
Which makes me love him and want to follow him even more. We are now on Michkov watch. That's how you say it, Michkov?
Well, my
Sounds
brother
like
there, my bro's a director of player development, so he'll have his hands full a little bit. Obviously with the language barrier, I interviewed him after the draft also down there, and he came with like this, like the guy was his translator, and we did the interview through translator. It was like a rough one. It's just hard to do it through a translator, obviously.
What do you mean? They just hired RA.
He asked you to pay him
just
afterwards,
speaking
Tommy?
fluent. He just RA drinks a case of Big Deal Brew. He's speaking fluent with
But
Michkov.
hey, Michkov too had like, I think they were saying, and maybe G'll know this more, averaging more goals per game or something than Ovi. Like he was putting up better numbers than Ovi in
Malkin
Ovi's draft year. So this guy is electric factory. He's attacking all the time.
He's kicking
He's high
teammates. I
octane.
fucking love this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
Before this
I'm
Russian
obsessed with
war, before this Russian war, he was a clear number 2. It was even almost number 1. He was doing these Michigans 2 years ago, and then this year, nobody followed the KHL, including the EBR crew, because you couldn't gamble on it. But he ended up moving up to the KHL, and he was scoring more in the KHL than he did in the junior league. And he was doing Michigans there. So
hey, how about nobody
something
following
else.
the KHL? Not because like the war and killing innocent Ukrainians, because you can't gamble
Can't
on
get the
it.
under.
no need to watch.
Just back to Montreal real quick for a second. Another name people struggle with, Abba Jackai. His brother Florian was taken in the 4th round by the Canadiens. Pretty cool story there. And also, did you see what went on with Tommy Fitz, with that whole thing there? One of the best moments I thought of the draft, 7th round, final round of day 2. The Preds didn't have a 7th round pick. They traded it away 2 years ago. New Jersey's on the clock with the 218th pick. Tommy Fitz, first captain in Nashville history. David Poile signed him as a free agent. Played for Barry Trotz down there. He traded that pick to the Preds for the 7th and 24th, which allowed David Poile to go up and make the final pick as a Preds GM. Just a real cool moment.
That's
hockey guys like to hook
corruption.
up.
That is corruption
Yes.
in the Gary, you need to step in.
Yeah. Now what?
You're on the clock.
Aiden Fink's gonna go to the Hall of Fame after this, and they're gonna blame Fitz.
So you could just give a pick away like that?
No, they
Did
made
get
a
anything in
trade.
return?
They made a trade because Jersey didn't have a 7th round pick because they had traded away years ago. But it was Poile's last draft. They wanted to give him
What
one last pick.
What did they trade the pick for?
I think
another
7th round
7th
next
rounder.
year.
Yeah, 7th rounder in 2024. So it was,
They just
I would like to
flip-flop
keep
it.
an eye on who the guys were just in case something ends up hitting, right?
yeah, Aiden Fink. That was Poile's last pick. So
And I think he stayed the whole draft. I read online, that kid. He waited it out every pick, and he ended up getting rewarded.
He
or
was
something.
there to be drafted
Yeah,
at the
I think
last
it was
pick.
him.
No
He's sitting behind
fucking
me.
shit.
But I'm not 100% on that. I'm pretty sure, but I'm 100%. My favorite moment of the whole draft was our guy Billy G before his pick. Did you guys hear that?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to thank Tootsies for keeping the entire NHL hydrated because it was the whole NHL like we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
But unreal to lead off.
Oh, and
like
just
that.
to give you guys an update, so I've told the story many a times on the podcast about the fact that was where I had my draft in Nashville in 2003, so 20 years prior.
Wow.
And I went around to every single hotel in Nashville and asked to see the lost and found, and there's no suit to be found. So suspect number 1 has to be Danny Fritchie, who was my roommate and shared an agent with him at the time. So I'm still on the hunt for that fucking suit, Danny.
Was it wrinkle free? Was it one of those ones you can't
It
wrinkle?
was immaculate. It had this very subtle. It was like a navy blue with a very subtle pinstripe. Oh, it was fucking
Your
unbelievable.
draft suit too, man.
Wow.
My grandfather bought it for me. Brand new suit.
That's
Wore it
big
one time. Didn't get draft. Pigeon toss. First 3 rounds. Obviously, the 4th through, I think it was 9 at the time, or on the second day. And then I went there with my who shot the couch suit that I used to
can I ask you guys
that I
this
used to
too?
throw in the washer and dryer.
He went there with a
pants.
horse blanket.
Dress pants in the washer and dryer. I
Do you
wore
guys
day
think,
2.
speaking of that, like your grandfather bought you a suit. I got a suit for the draft too. I never had like these. I see these kids now. Like I seen kids with like Gucci loafers and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they
what
are
the
dialed.
fuck is this? Like,
Well, they're being paid in college. They're all fucking Michigan players.
these
They're taking
kids
pay
have
cuts.
the nicest clothes now. And like we were throwing shit together to try to get there. It was like a special occasion. You got like a special thing. And now these kids are just always like ankles out.
Look at Witt's draft suit. He looks like he went NBA 2000.
I look like Sean
Men's
Kemp.
warehouse.
99 with
I only
Iverson.
have 2 kids instead of 14, but yeah, I had no style, dude. My shoes were like the box toe, and they were like shiny
the
and
Aldo.
shit.
So
Yeah.
you were an Aldo guy.
That's why I went to Edmonton. Later on, I was an Aldo
Oh.
guy.
But Biz, remember we ran into those kids going from Tootsie's to Blanco to eat? There was like 7 of them all dressed up. I don't know if Fantilli was one of those that had all nice suits on. Sharp looking kids that.
No, the
But
way that
speak-
they tailor them now, they look like they're straight out of the Mad Men show. They just look completely dialed.
Hey, Witt, shout out to Blanco.
Oh, Blanco.
Blanco.
Yeah, if you're
Oh,
ever in
yeah.
Nashville, you want some good
Blanco.
Mexican. The tacos, the tequila, they got those frozen margaritas.
I'm still
I went-
pissing out of my ass.
I went to lunch there
Every day.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, post Sandbagger, wrecked.
Yeah.
By the way, had to go to the airport, went in there, ordered a big thing of chips and street corn, and sat there alone with my sunglasses on, scooping up the street corn with the chips.
what a
And I was
spot.
like, I was getting looks. Like I was like, I need to go. I was like, actually like this. I need to go home. I need to go home.
You guys know
Street
who
corn's
had
the
the
best.
best suit on the whole thing, though?
Uh,
Was our next guest. He had the names of all the guys
Oh,
that
yeah.
helped him, all the coaches,
Oh
the
yeah,
teachers,
Fantilli had that.
the
I
brothers,
think 140 names he had. People who helped
That was
him get
cool.
to where he was.
They were all there. Seriously.
No,
Yeah,
that
he
was
got 100
wicked cool.
150 people there, right? Didn't he? Or something?
Yeah,
120?
he had a
or something
party,
like that?
and we went to it after. So we might
Hey,
as well
imagine
throw it
being
over.
like the guy who didn't get on the suit. You're like, oh, like I thought I was really important to him.
Yeah,
Like the
no,
Ralph
no,
Box
it's
of
on
the
there
suit,
somewhere.
last one cut.
Uncle Jerry.
It's on there somewhere, unless you want to like take a look and read all the names.
I swear, man, you're on there. Just bottom left near my horn.
Before we bring him on, Biz, I just want to give a shout out to USHL Youngstown Phantoms and congratulations to Coach Ryan. They had 6 players drafted. We bumped into these guys on the way into the draft. So it was the most ever by a USHL team for guys that were actually on the team that year. So pretty proud moment for those guys. We bumped into them. Awesome crew. Like, I mean, everyone we met was just teams from all over the place, coaches, agents. It was awesome stuff. But anyways, we do have Adam Fantilli coming up right now. So we're going to send it over to him.
This interview is brought to you by Chevy. Chevy's working to make charging simple. Over 110,000 charging stations across the U.S. and Canada and growing. With the My Chevy app, your smartphone becomes your co-pilot when using the My Chevrolet mobile app with Energy Assist. The app allows you to access vehicle information like battery status and charging settings from anywhere. The Energy Assist feature intelligently plans your routes. Can you imagine that? That's so easy. It's just you look it up and it's like, where am I going? It tells you how to get there, how many times, how many things you have to use. I think that's amazing. It tells you where and how long to charge up, and it gives you real-time data about charging stations availability. Beautiful. Home charging. Guess what? They do that too. 3 different levels are available. Chevy electric vehicles offer great options for charging. All of them as simple as just plugging in your smartphone. You just do that to your car. To learn more, go to chevy.com/electric. That's chevy.com/electric.
Folks, this is an exciting one right here. We got one of the most electric prospects to come through the ranks in quite some time. Not only did this guy win the World Juniors and the World Championships, he led his college team as a freshman to the Frozen Four at Michigan, and he won the friggin' Hobie Baker. Paul Correa, Jack Eichel, and our guest, Adam Fantilli, the only 3 freshmen to ever win that award.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining the show, buddy. How you doing?
Wow, thank you so much for having me. How you guys been?
We're doing awesome. We're doing awesome. So life's crazy for you right now. A whirlwind trip, I'm sure, over to Europe. You get the gold medal. You're second of the season. What's the plan now leading up for these next 3 weeks before the draft? Where are you at? Where you'll be staying? What's going on?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Just got back like 2 days ago from overseas and had a couple days at home, and then I gotta fly out over to Vegas. We're watching game 2 over there. And then after that, got the combine in Buffalo. June's gonna be a bit hectic. Got my cousin's wedding after that, and then the draft.
That's awesome, man. So I is there any nerves about the combine? We were actually talking earlier, us three, about when Sam Bennett couldn't do a pull-up. I don't know if that's really hurt him these days, but are you worried at all, or are you just kind of looking forward to it almost?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. Everybody I've talked to said it was a good time there. They're there for quite a bit of time. Because I was at World Championships, I'm not sure if I have to do all the physical testing. I heard that was a thing. I don't know if it's for sure or not yet, but I might not be doing that stuff. But either way, I'd be excited for it.
They're like, oh my God, he tested like so high for Latvian schooner beers at Worlds. Like,
he's good.
Hey, what a year though. Like, well, what do you say about your year? About everything, like college, that experience, the Frozen Four, the Hobie Baker, leading on into playing for your country and winning there as well. Like what a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was nuts from start to finish. Like at the beginning, I didn't know what was going on when I first got to campus. It was so much fun. That campus is amazing. And then the first half, you're trying to make the World Junior team, so you're trying to chase that. And then after that, you're trying to chase the national championship or the Big Ten championship. So you felt like you were just always chasing something you weren't really like thinking about at the time. But looking back, it was an amazing year, and I loved it. It was amazing.
You lit up Chicago Steel. You go to Michigan. We'll kind of get into those decisions in a little bit, but you had these high aspirations and goals going in. Like, did you think it'd be that easy? I mean, just to light it up like that, there had to be some doubt in your mind a little bit before your first few college games, or skating with the guys in preseason stuff. Did you know, like, I'm really ready to dominate this level too?
Not really. No. Yeah, there was obviously certain levels of doubt. I was in the gym with Luke Hughes going into the season, and then he was bugging me, like, kept asking me, how many goals are you going to score this year? Because he had 17 or something his freshman year, something stupid as a freshman defenseman. And I was like, I don't know, like, I'm hoping for 15, like, try and contribute, do the best I can. He just kept asking for a number. It was nuts. But when we got out there with the guys, they were all so welcoming. Our seniors and upperclassmen were amazing. We had 12 freshmen, which was a stupid amount of guys. So they helped us like acclimate so well. But yeah, the year ended up going great. My coach gave me a lot of opportunity, which was awesome, and kind of bouncing ideas off him, which was great. So yeah, looking back, it was awesome.
I think I was talking with Shane Doan, and you played with Josh with the Chicago Steel.
Yeah.
And it just seems like that organization is able to like really produce a lot of good quality players coming out. It seems like they really invest in the players. Is that why you decided to go maybe that route as opposed to going to play in the OHL? And we'll get to the whole drafting and then getting traded at that level, but more specifically just the USHL and Chicago Steel.
Yeah. So when I kind of made that decision, I was playing prep school down at Kimball Union Academy in New Hampshire.
That's where you played?
Yeah.
So you played at in the Floodmar. That's the tournament just where I live in Milton. That Milton Academy. No shit. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. It was
Is
was
Tim
amazing.
Whitehead the coach there still?
Yeah, he was my coach, yeah.
Yes, coach at Maine for a long time, Biz. He coaches this high school program. They've turned into a powerhouse. How did you end up down there from Ontario?
Yeah, how do you end up there?
Yeah, so I played with the Toronto Red Wings in minor midget with the 2003 year, and then I tried to go back down for my own age and JRC and play back where I was, but my brother had just moved down to Kimball, so I started the year and I was like, I miss my brother. Like this he looks like so much fun down there. He's loving it. So I kind of left the GTHL and went down to Kimball Union for the rest of the year. I was about 2 weeks late. Yeah, the coach just said there was an opening spot on the forward side of things, and he wanted me down that weekend. So I just packed up my bags, jumped in, and moved into a single dorm at 14. It was kind of nuts, but I couldn't wait to start playing with my brother.
That's incredible.
This is such a good thing to hear, because I feel like, from your neck of the woods, Ontario area, Toronto area, GTHL, that's like, the mini NHL. Like, people will sell one of their kids so their other kid can play in that league.
Oh yeah.
It's insane, right?
Coaches make like $80,000.
Yeah,
the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
The envelopes are The envelopes are dumb in GTHL.
Wait, so
it's crazy.
It is crazy. And then you just say, screw it. I want to go down where my brother's at.
Prep
It's
school.
great for people and kids that are chasing it, that listen to the show and follow you. They all watch you on clips, I'm sure, like every kid. I got a 12-year-old. I brought him the Frozen 4. He's loving it, loving you, loving all the guys,
awesome.
loving Cooley, Pittsburgh guy where we live. So it was really cool. But it's so cool for kids from that area to hear your story of that, because I think it's gone so nutty, crazy, and it's been like that for a long time, that there's other ways to do it, which is really cool.
The GTHL is a madhouse, and it's getting even crazier from what I've heard. I've been outside of it for quite a bit, but I heard it's ramping up even more. I had already played that minor midget year, so I didn't really want to do it again. And then I found out that was an option. I found out that Taze did that in his draft year. I found out that McKinnon did that in his draft year. I was like, yeah, like why not? Like go play U20 for a bit, like try and play with bigger, stronger guys. Either way, you're going to be more ready for the OHL at that point anyway, if that's where you want to go. And then COVID happened right at the end of that year. So the OHL didn't start at all, and the USHL was going to play. So I went down there, and I probably would have gone down there anyway with Owen Power went through there, Brendan Brisson, Matt Coronado, Sean Farrell, all those guys were in there. And I was like, place seems like an absolute factory. So I had to go down there and check it out. And it was amazing. I stayed for 2 years. Was thinking about going to the O after that first year, but I loved it so much. I had to stay for a second year. And then at that point, I wanted to go to college.
Was it a factory, and like what type of resources were they providing you where you could keep taking these massive strides in your play?
It's crazy. It's a lot like the US NTDP in a sense. Their only focus is themselves. They don't worry about who they're playing that weekend or anything like that. They kind of hammer you in the gym quite a bit, and they bring in. I don't know if you guys know who Adam Nicholas is. They bring him in, and he does a ton of skills work, like plays there 3 times a week after practice. There's free ice all the time, and they're dialed in with like their heart rate monitors and load management, everything. It's the way they structure it is phenomenal down there.
Yeah, they really have. I remember hearing years ago that the owner had a ton of money and was willing to really start an amazing program. They've taken over as the #1 team you want to be on in the USHL. They actually had a kid this year, I think, Max Celebrini, who's going to be a real high pick like yourself. He's going to BU, so they keep getting these studs, even Canadians. But I wanted to go back because you said minor midget. You were playing with the 03s. You're actually October 04. So it's almost like playing up 2 years. And Biz mentioned to me before the interview that you were on skates at like 2-3 years old. So it's always been a progression of you being a really good player, a top end player, even through your younger days.
I was always kind of mediocre up until like puberty. Like, everybody started to get bigger and stuff like that. I just loved playing, and my brother always let me go out with his age group and stuff like that. So I was always kind of chasing him and chasing his teammates and stuff like that. He was amazing about letting me come out with his teams and stuff like that. So that's kind of the way it went. Yeah. Biz is right. I did start a little bit young. My dad loves it, so he wanted to get us on the ice pretty quick. But it was kind of average up until a certain point, and tried to realize I could go somewhere with it, and tried to work as hard as I could after that.
Your dad was like, get him on the ice. He's got to play in the GTHL one day.
Yeah, exactly. 2 weeks after his second birthday, this guy had me.
I want to play up a year too.
He's got to be with the Vaughan Flyers. I got to get him on the Vaughan Flyers.
Yeah. Your father's a carpenter, correct? He has a carpenter business.
Yeah, he took it over from his father. They make kitchens, like custom kitchens and cabinetry and stuff like that.
Can you do this stuff? Are you handyman?
Yeah. Are you like the rest of us?
I used to watch I used to watch this show called The New Yankee Workshop. I just like watching like carpentry and
it's
things
so
being
cool.
made. Isn't it unbelievable?
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't get a chance to give Villa Kitchens and Fine Cabinetry a shout out on the pod.
Can we give him a Biz 20 promo code?
Yeah,
we give him a Biz 20?
Yeah, exactly.
Just make sure you tell the old man. I don't want him getting these phone calls being like, "What 20% off for what? The hell?"
I'll let him know.
Say fucking Adam, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I had to pay for your skates coming up, $1,000 a pop. Now I got to have 20% discount code. But is that all I keep reading about and hearing about is like obviously your skill set, but your work ethic. Where did that come from? Is that something that was instilled from your parents?
Yeah. I mean, both my parents work and they both grind. My mom's commute every morning was nuts. And she was always kind of like my dad would drive us around because my mom's hours were pretty nuts. And growing up, I never like had like to see those guys that have like naturally nuts hands or a nuts shot or anything like that. But I always wanted to catch the guys that did. And I was fortunate enough, my dad made me like a little mini synthetic ice and a net in the basement. So I was able to go down there and work on that stuff quite a bit, like the hands and the shot side of it. So he kind of instilled that in me and my brother from a pretty young age.
You were shooting at the dryer like Sid?
My mom would have killed me. She made us like go through a ton of Canadian Tire nets.
Okay. There you go.
This year at the Worlds, like, when did you find out you were going to be on the team? Like, did you know? I'm assuming you knew it was a possibility. And when did you decide you wanted to do it? Right. I mean, I know the draft's coming up. You've already kind of proven everything that you need to prove, and you go over there. Like, I'll say a little bit of a risk in terms of some things, but just representing your country. When did you find out you made the team? And take us through that.
Yeah, there was like a bit of a buffer period where I found out I could be on the team, and I wasn't hearing much for a little bit, and then I decided they said like they want you on the team. Like do you want to go? Like it's obviously it's a little unorthodox to head down there right after your draft year and go play against men, and like you said, that there could be that added element of risk per se. But I was looking at it as like I could get a full year of learning what the locker room's like, their preparation, the practice habits, and kind of get that edge mentally and learn the environment before stepping in if that's what I want to do next year. I'd be able to learn and kind of get the environment and the atmosphere a little bit better and get a feel for it. And then anytime you get to play for your country, obviously it's an honor. So being able to play for Canada was awesome.
Hey, the Latvian women didn't play a factor at all?
No, not at all. No.
Okay. I'm just asking what a scout would ask. You never know with these pre-draft
you're going to
interviews.
get grilled at the combine. Biz will get you ready. Biz, this guy's too...
way too modest.
Too modest. He's the only player, he's one of two players, himself and Jonathan Taves, to ever win the World Junior and the World Championship at the same year. And ironically, Army was on that team with Jonathan Taves, right?
Yeah, at the Worlds for men's one. So yeah, he won. So yeah, we're like kind of like Eskimo brothers a little bit. The
hockey world version.
The hockey style.
I love it. Oh, I wouldn't want to tap that nose.
Just let's rub noses, buddy.
Hey, what was Luch like over there?
Oh man,
he was
what a
amazing.
guy, huh?
He was amazing. The Bruins were my favorite team growing up, so my dad would always take us down there, and he brought us down to go watch the 2011 final, and I got like pictures with him and everything. They were framed in my basement from a while ago. And when I found out he was going to be on the team, I was super pumped, and I ended up getting to be on the line with him, which was sick. And he's an animal, so it was awesome.
Walk us through that goal you scored too. Like, walk us through your goal. Didn't Luch pass that to you as well, and you just went crazy on that?
Yeah, I was kind of on the back check, but it was like a weird extended play, and Barron came around, made a really nice play on the breakout, and like stretched it all the way up to Luch at the red line, and I was kind of curling through.
Perfect.
And he hit me right in the middle, and it was kind of one-on-one situation, and tried to make a move, got a little bit too confident, I guess, but it ended up working out. I got through and made the shot that went in. But yeah, to be able to have him pass me that puck, that was amazing.
I saw this year, I think it was at Michigan State, like you got, I don't know if it was tossed out of the game, but in an altercation. Yeah. And it seems, talking to people who see you play a lot, you do have that like nasty streak to you, like the wick, a short
got that
wick.
dog in him.
And that's a great thing to have. Like, is that something that almost your dad told you need to be a part of your game, or it was just natural for you to lose your temper a little bit out there? And it's going to serve you well, I'm thinking.
Yeah, my dad always kind of it's weird. Like you're 7 years old and your dad's saying this type of stuff, but he's like always wanted a 5-tool player is what my dad would say. Like if I scored 3 goals but was dashed 4, he would lose his mind. And I think it was actually really good at a young age, but he always idolized guys like Messier, guys like Lindros. And, I loved watching that type of stuff. And
Luch.
Exactly, Luch. And obviously fighting's not as much of a part of it anymore, but I never wanted to be able to be scared to go if I had to. I know it's part of the game in some senses. So I do have a small temper sometimes out there, but I think it's part of the game. I think it's sometimes just getting a little bit competitive, and it helps drive games sometimes. So I think it's part of it.
I guess we were kind of wondering too, that being said, now that you have the experience, NHL coaches, guys, right? Like,
how do you make the decision here?
Yeah,
buddy?
what's going to happen with you now?
I mean, I guess you got to get drafted first. Hopefully you get picked this year.
Yeah, hopefully
hopefully
they
break
pick
the news
you.
here. We're going to break your face is what they're saying. I'll just put it bluntly.
It's that's pretty much what I've been waiting to see where I go and what the team says. What I've been pretty much saying is like, if they want me to sign, and like, hey, like might be up and down throughout the year, and might spend quite a bit of time in the A. I might want to go back to school and try and go for the national championship, and why not go back and help my team there? But all the opportunity in the world's there, and they want me there, and kind of hard to say no to your childhood dream, right?
And you got to see Luke Hughes this year, which, as cool as it is to see a teammate and a friend go into the NHL, play great right away, he's in the playoffs. It's also probably like, wow, like I play at the same level as this guy. Like I know I can do it. Like I'm watching one of my buddies from this year do it. It's almost got to just be great for your confidence too.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, to watch what he did was amazing. We were all sitting on our couch watching him play those games, and we scored in overtime. We were losing our minds. That was amazing. But like practicing against guys like him and guys like Sam Miskevich was on my team that year. So yeah, it gives you a sense of confidence to be able to like say, I practice with these guys. These guys are going in and succeeding. So it's a little bit of reassuring in that sense, but also like those are phenomenal hockey players as well, and they're gonna go through their own battles. But yeah, to see them all do that is great.
I kind of want to ask about the decision to go to Michigan. Like, were there any other schools in the mix? Was it because you played at the Chicago Steel with the Owen Powers, the Brendan Bessons, who were already going to Michigan? Like, how did that Michigan decision come to be?
Did they buy your parents a double wide?
Well, his brother, it was like Kimball Union too. His brother was there.
Yeah, so I got to play with my brother from Kimball to Chicago to Michigan. But while I was in Chicago, I was pretty much looking at North Dakota and Michigan. Those were the main two that I wanted to do. So I wanted to follow Jonathan Toews as much as possible growing up. And so I fast-tracked high school as well. And I wanted to be able to go in a year early to college. And that opportunity came up to go to North Dakota because Weatherby had signed and they needed a player like last minute to go in there. But when I was kind of put in the actual situation, I realized how much I loved Chicago and wanted to go back there for the second year. So I headed back, and then for that first 2 months of the season, my brother was really on me about going to see Michigan and checking out the campus and stuff like that. And once I went up there to see what everything was like and go on campus and see the rink and meet all the guys, I fell in love with it. It was 4 hours away from home. My brother's there. The campus was awesome. Everything was pointing me that way.
Have you gone to any football games?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, our first few nights they did the Big Ten ring ceremony for the guys the year before, and the guys were nice enough to let all the freshmen this year go out with them. So it was awesome. Like, we were right on the end zone, and JJ McCarthy threw a touchdown like right in front of us, and the guy like bowed to our whole team. It was so cool. We were losing our mind.
So you were loving the college experience. And I was going to ask you, like, you had to make these significant jumps to go into play in the UCHL to college, and then college. Why are you laughing?
You can't say USHL, but I don't blame you because you have so many leagues in your brain. But you call it the UCHL. I think you called it the ESHL.
What's it called?
The USHL.
So I said it right this time.
No, you said the UCHL.
CHL.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so whatever. You get what I mean, Fantilli. I'm the dummy of the podcast. And then going from college to going to the World Championship with grown men, like, how have you had to prepare your body, like your regimen, in order to like get up to that caliber? And then also going to the World Championships, how hard was it adjusting to playing against these grown men for the first time?
And even the time off.
So you kind of going from the USHL to the NCAA, you kind of have that mix of being able to play that 62, 64 game schedule, and then also play the I only played 36, but like 40 game schedule that it might be in college. So you kind of get both. And then in the summer, you try and make that transition. And at the end of the year, I was playing against guys that were 22, 23 years old, like legit men. And they were strong.
Even older on Quinnipiac.
Yeah, their average age is like 27
families.
or something.
Yeah, guys with families and jobs. And
Guys working at the steel mill after class.
It's like, Your dad's like, wait, that's my old carpenter pal. Holy shit, we built a couple houses together. What the fuck's he doing here?
He's great at the sink work.
He got his apprenticeship under me.
He's doing the fucking baseboards before the game in the room.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then by the end of that year, like right after we kind of lost to Quinnipiac in the semifinals, there we took quite a bit of time off, and our freshman class took our trip. And while we were on our trip in Florida, that's kind of when I figured out I was going to be going to overseas. So I had to book a flight back, and I had nobody told me, but they took the ice out at Yost in Michigan. So as soon as I got to Detroit, I was like, what's going on? So I jumped back in my car, drove down to Chicago, and the Steel let me skate with them again for about a week before heading over there. And yeah, the jump was actually pretty like crazy with how good everybody's sticks were, and I wasn't expecting everybody to be that good defensively at that level. It was a little bit of a jump, to be honest.
I want to ask about the whole, like all this stuff that you're talking about. Like I wanted to jump up a year. I wanted to finish high school quicker. I wanted to do all this stuff. Is that you? Is that like help from your parents in kind of deciding some of this stuff, or is this like you're driven this much to understand how this all works? Or is there an advisor that's helping you kind of decide your career path or your path through hockey? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you seem pretty driven and like want to go places, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of personal sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both. I was really fortunate to have a great group of people around me when I was young, people that had been around the game for so long. Jim Hughes and another guy who advises me, Dave Demetrio, these two guys were kind of with me when I was younger, and they kind of helped me navigate through wanting to sending me down to the States to play prep school, and then saying like, hey, like, yeah, you can go to the O if you'd like to. We're not saying you can't, but the USHL in Chicago is an option for you, even because COVID's going on. Like, see how you like it for a year, and then if you don't like it, go to the O. Why not? Like, and they would just show me these options and show me these different paths. And I always found it pretty interesting, the pathway that you could take, and people that have taken it before. And not a lot of people pay attention to it with like Owen Power doing pretty much the same thing and going through Chicago and into Michigan and doing the same thing being from Toronto. So I thought it was interesting. And I was like, how can you not get better playing against guys that are 22, 23 and legit men in college to try and prepare for pro? We got
Colby's kid.
What?
Should we do it now, Whit? Colby's kid. I think he's right next to him.
Yeah. You got a fan here that's got a question
Cruiser,
for you.
You're up.
We had him draw one up.
He's a big fan of you. All these young kids coming up, right? You're that next wave and next generation, so he's pretty fired up to ask.
Oh, look, he looks nervous.
I love it. Let's hear it.
This is Cruz Armstrong.
Nice to meet you, Cruz.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I just got one question for you. If there was any memories or like greatest experience in your life, like full of hockey, like what would be the greatest one? Like you've won the Hobie Baker and Frozen Four and World Juniors, World Champions, and just like what's the greatest one you've had?
Yeah, that's a great question, man.
Hard hit it. He doesn't get it from the
job security. I'm out of here,
buddy.
RA's fucked.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah, in terms of like events like that, with teams and stuff like that, anytime you're fortunate enough to win a championship at this level, it's amazing. They don't come around very often. Once you get past minor hockey and stuff like that. So the World Juniors was phenomenal. The way they did it in Halifax over there, I've never seen an environment the way that building was. It was awesome. And I don't think I'm ever going to forget the way that sea of red was looking after we won. It was phenomenal. I'd probably say that World Junior win was pretty special.
Oh.
And speaking of the World Juniors, like maybe the tournament didn't start out for you personally as you'd hoped a little bit. I don't know if I'm incorrect in that, but like, that if that was the case, like that's probably like a little adversity for you throughout a year that's been just so outstanding. Like, did you feel the same? Did you feel you had more to give after the first few games?
First few games, I didn't produce the way I wanted to, but and kind of shuffled around the lineup and whatever happened, because there's a lot of amazing guys on that roster. But I was like, hey, like, what are you gonna do now? Like, you're gonna play a role and just try and win a gold medal at this point. You're here, so and I kind of tried to accept that role, and I was like, hey, like, might as well be able to show that I can play up and down the lineup and try and contribute in that sense. So I kind of was checking as much as I could, or checking as hard as I could, and when I could, tried to contribute offensively. But yeah, from the outside, I didn't have the most productive tournament, but I felt I was still able to contribute and do what I could to help us win.
Biz had told us.
Hold on, Cruz is going to say bye.
Oh, he's got a follow-up.
No, I'm done. Thank you, though. Thank you.
Nice to
and good
meet
luck
you,
in the
Cruz.
draft.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice
Thank you
meeting
very much.
Attaboy, Cruz.
There we go.
Cruiser coming in with a great question.
God, this guy.
You mentioned Saginaw picked you in the first round, and I think sometimes they'll pick a guy hoping they can kind of sway him to come to the O. But then they ended up trading your rights to North Bay for also like another first round pick. So you're kind of catching the heat from both teams. So you're having to say no 2 different times, right?
Yeah, I ended up going to see Saginaw, actually. I was thinking about it, like I said, after that first Chicago Steel year, I was like, maybe I'll still go to the O. And I went to go see Saginaw. And I remember after the draft had happened, I was sitting on my couch here, and I had signed my tender with Chicago already. And my dad was like, hey, like, what if Biz reaches out? Like, do you think he'll go to Saginaw?
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God.
Get the fuck out of here.
Recruiter.
Oh, great. The organization's going to love to hear that.
The dad's testing you. He's like, if you say yes, you're done. You're not going there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe if Biz reaches out, might have to. But yeah, it was. And then the trade happened to the North Bay. I got some buddies that play on that team, and they became a bit of a powerhouse the last little bit. They had a great playoff run there, but yeah, like, well, I was loving it in Chicago too much. I couldn't leave.
You know, I played for North Bay too, right? That's where Saginaw came from. So if I would have called you from North Bay, would you have gone?
Hey, I don't know, maybe.
You're pretty convincing, Biz.
A little colder up there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
We dove into like, you know, what you've had to do in order to get to where you're at, and we talk about that personal sacrifice. Like, you know, what does it do you do for fun though when you're able to finally get away? Because we know so much of your life is devoted to the game of hockey at this point.
Well, whenever I get to come home, I'm always pumped to see my family. I don't get to see them too often, and I'm really close with my immediate family and my extended family, all my cousins and stuff like that. We're super close, so I love getting to see them. But whenever I'm home, I golf as much as I can and just hang out with my buddies as much as possible. Pretty much just try to live a normal summer. Like whenever you get out of the gym, go hit the track and then do whatever you can with your buddies after.
Biz.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Sandbagger. Future guest, I think, right here.
Can you golf? Are you a golfer?
I'm not bad. I'm definitely not anything special, but I can make my way around the course.
If you tell every team that's going to draft you ahead of the Coyotes that you're not coming and you want to go to Arizona and then sign with the Coyotes for next season, we would consider you for a sandbagger.
Really?
We will consider.
There's the Saginaw pitch you were waiting for.
Yeah. It's the only way I'm getting out
basically
there.
a threat.
Hey, I did read though that you're a big Avengers fan. Although those types of movies, that's what gets you going. What's the appeal? Did you grow up on that?
Well, recently, I got to throw a disclaimer. Recently, the last couple of movies have been not as good. I've been a little disappointed, but I just loved them growing up. I was a huge fan, and I was over in while we were overseas, I kind of figured out Cody Glass and Devin Levi were both massive Marvel fans as well. So we were all kind of talking about it, and my parents came in, so I had to go to dinner, but them two went out to go watch the new Doctor Strange movie in Latvia. So it was kind of crazy, but yeah, I just kind of like grew up loving those types of movies.
Hey, Luch comes in with a cigar and a beer. He's like, "What up, nerds?"
Yeah,
exactly.
When he gets drafted, you're gonna have like remember Tavares in the Leafs pajamas in his bed. He's gonna have like the Hulk on his fucking
Iron Man costume in bed. Oh,
G's probably got a couple questions for you.
Well, yeah, I kind of just want to go to the Hobie Baker award, winning that. For the Canadian listeners who don't know, it's the best player in college hockey. Obviously, you won it as a freshman. Only Paul Kariya and Jack Eichel, only two others to do it. What was that day like? What was the celebration like after? Were you shocked that you won it? Kind of walk me through that whole day.
It was a crazy day. We had just kind of lost to Quinnipiac, so everybody was a little bit down, and I was lucky enough that my team was allowed to stay around for the ceremony. They did the whole Mike Richter and all that stuff as well. They had us staying in kind of an air-conditioned room because it was the first time they've ever done it publicly and outside. Because we were in Tampa, it was so hot, they didn't want us sitting outside. But we came out, the most intense music ever was playing, and they made us go up on stage and just sit beside each other and wait for the envelope to come out. It was super intense, but yeah, when I heard my name called, it was amazing. It was awesome.
Gee, we missed that. We were like hat tricks having a big deal brew party, I think. We didn't make it to that one, did we?
We were crippled at hat, just sucking down wings and big deal
Hey,
brews.
Merles is like, I should have won the Hobie sophomore year, but I hurt my finger in the second week.
Oh, Merles did want me to ask if you are aware of the EBR draft rankings. Are you aware of his EBR draft rankings and where you stand on them?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So he's had you at 1 at some points at this year, and he's had you at 2. I don't think
he had you at 1 at the
2.
Frozen Four. He had you at 1.
Wow, he's too kind.
We were walking out of the rink. We were yelling at some scouts that he was saying you're number 1 to some scouts and stuff. And he's like, I'll do your job for you. Fantilli number 1.
He's too kind for that.
I mean, the only other name that gets brought up as a possible second pick, like instead of you, would be the Leo Carlsson. He was over in the Worlds at Sweden. Do you catch yourself kind of like eyeing him up, like seeing how he plays, or are you more just focused on your game?
I actually hadn't watched them at all up until this point. I was sitting in my room, and they were playing Finland, I think. So I threw that game on. I was like, might as well let's see how good he is. And he's a great player. He's really smart. He's big. From what I saw, he's great, and he's going to be flying over to Vegas for game 2 as well. So I'll get to meet him and
nice.
Get to know him a little bit. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, he had a great tournament as well. He was playing with Raymond and Nylander, so he must have had a crazy experience there, learning from those guys. I'm excited to ask him about it.
Do you have your draft suit picked out?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
You got the ankles showing? Are you going ankle guy? Are you short pants? Are you
The
short
Gucci
pants
belt?
with the loafers?
You got the Fendi belt, the Gucci?
Are you practicing the hug with mom and dad, or what?
No, I haven't thought about any of those things yet. I gotta get on that. My dad's making me go classic dress shoe. He's like, well, in 20 years, you don't want to look back and say I look like an idiot. So
He's got the Carhartt suit. Your old man's got the Carhartt suit on.
Yeah,
He's like, your suit. Why doesn't your suit have one of those loops where you put your hammer?
The stage together before the draft.
The carpenter.
He's gonna be making it. Yeah,
He's got his hammer in there.
yeah, exactly. They're letting me do a few customizations on the inside and stuff like that. So that'll be my creativity spot. But other than that, they're making me go pretty classic.
So wear a top hat. Fuck it. Just wear a top. Please, do it for us. Yeah,
that would be kind of.
Does that get me on the sandbagger or no?
I'll sub out the signing with the Coyotes and waving your college to yes. If you wear a top hat, you're invited to a sandbagger.
Hey, how about at my draft too? This Russian guy, I remember his name, Igor Kanayev or something.
D-man.
D-man, yeah. Big, thick dude when he went up. I don't think he ended up playing any games, but he got drafted like pretty high first round my year. He came up full tuxedo with like a cummerbund on and everything. I was like, what a legend.
Straight out of Moscow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The rental.
You should comb your hair like a Russian. You should go straight bangs right across. Just go. Hey, remember our year? That was probably to cover the fucking bombs they had on their forehead.
Kostitin's draft.
I want to ask center or wing. I know you can play on any. Well, what's your favorite? This is a draft question too. There you go.
Yeah, I prefer playing center. I was bouncing around all year. Like at World Juniors, I was left and right. World Championships, I was left and right. At Michigan, I was center. I prefer playing center, but yeah, I kind of bounce around.
More money. Good answer. My second answer, Cruz poked his head in, and I'll go with this one too. Another Cruz question. I got to ask another one. Ask him who he thinks is going to win the cup. There you go.
That's a good one.
This might air after. I don't even know.
Well, like Biz was talking about, Florida's had that 10-day intermission or whatever it was called with Memorial Day down in Fort Lauderdale. So however that went for those guys, but the way they've been playing has been awesome. Kachuk's been lights out. Bobrovsky's been lights out. So if they can keep going the way they've been going, I'd say Florida. But you never know. Vegas has also been hot. So
there you go, G. You got to update our thing. Got to put a Fantilli head on there, and then put his pick underneath.
Do you chat with Bedard quite a bit?
Yeah, we were actually just texting 2 days ago.
Tell him we want to get him on.
You guys got a side bet going?
I just hung out with him a few weeks ago. You got to tell him we got to get him on.
I'll let him know. He's a good kid. He's an amazing guy.
Well, you got to spend time with him at World Juniors. I mean, you guys joke around, maybe got a side bet going as to who might go first overall?
No, I don't want to take that bet. We always joke around and stuff like that. Our first thing at World Juniors was just bury one of us from behind, like just kill somebody and then just see what the media says and just see what stories they write. But yeah, he's awesome. He's
What's
a really
something
funny
about
guy.
him that you admire, like playing with him there, that you got to see him? He's not like the tallest guy. His shot's amazing, but like what about his game when you were playing with him there? You got to see him in practice. You got to see him day to day. That you were like, wow, this guy's legit.
Maybe the jealousy crept in a little bit. You're like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
this guy is really good.
You're like, make a save, goalie. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know when he had that 8-point game or something. I was like, all right, come on now. But
settle down.
He's got an amazing work ethic. Oh, he's really dialed into everything he does. His shot is stupid. I know everybody talks about it, but he's like 5'10", I think, 5'9", 5'10", and our sticks are the same length.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but the way he can rip that thing is awesome. It's so cool to watch.
Well, buddy, we can't thank you enough for coming on. We wish you the best of luck moving forward here in the draft. Looking forward to seeing that top hat. And you have to promise, if you get grilled by any of these GMs in some of these meetings they have before the draft, you got to come back and tell the stories about what they asked you that was so ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm excited to do so. That's going to be cool.
And if Stevie Y asks you if you smoke pot, just make sure you say no. Just make sure you say no.
That's the one I'm most nervous about. I heard
he'll get
what
you.
happened with Doc.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, buddy. It's going to be a special night. We're rooting for you, so we appreciate it. Have a great one.
Time.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Hello, Canada. This episode is brought to you by the ScoreBet Sportsbook and Casino. The ScoreBet is the best sportsbook for the hockey obsessed. With a wide variety of markets and daily specials from us here at Spittin Chiclets, it's got you covered for everything on the ice. So if you're in Ontario only, download the ScoreBet app and create an account today. You can build and follow your bets directly from the Score Sports app for the best possible experience. With the playoff push coming up, you don't want to miss anything. And the Score Bet also has you covered for all your other favorite sports and players, plus there's tons of iCasino games any day, anytime. That's the Score Bet. Download today and see how the best sports app, period, does sports betting. Please play responsibly. 18 plus, Ontario only. Gambling problem? Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600. Huge thanks to Adam for jumping on with us, man. Awesome kid. Wish him the best going in the future. But Biz, lots of stuff going on. Free agency, trades. We got to go to one of your 17 teams, the Maple Leafs. I mean, Brad Treliving, the big boss man, Brendan Shanahan. They get down to brass tacks right away. Let's see, Max Domi, 1 year for $3 million. Tyler Bertuzzi, 1 year, $5.5 million. Revo, Ryan Reeves, 3 years he got, a little over $4 million. Dylan Gambrell got a year, $775,000. And then John Klingberg, 1 year, a little over $4 million. I guess fans were kind of antsy the first day of free agency, but by the end of it, Sunday, Biz, they were like much happier with what Tree and Shandy had done. What's your take as the Leaf super fan on the show? Yeah,
I think they upgraded on the Bunting situation, which I thought Bunting was a great player. For the few years he was with Toronto, he obviously got a nice.
How much did he get with Carolina?
I think he got 3 years, just over 4, which is I think he's a great compliment to a top 2 line, right? Net front presence. I think he's going to get you 20 goals, 20 assists, and I think
he'll be good on that team too.
Yeah, he'll be good, and they need a little bit more grit, but they're still not that big.
Yeah,
they need
Bunting's
to get bigger.
Small. Yeah,
they're all small, and they won't really get away from that. But going back to Toronto, I thought Bertuzzi was an excellent signing. Clearly, he's waiting for that salary cap to go up next year and really capitalize, which is crazy, though, because he had such a good playoff.
Did you see that coming, boys? Did you see Bertuzzi coming with the Leafs at all? Like,
no.
I thought Bruins
especially
were clearing some space. They were
Boston.
trying to, yeah.
Like I don't know. Would Boston have still traded Hall had they thought?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like once you saw that happen, you're like, oh, okay, they're definitely making room for Bertuzzi because he was obviously other than Hall, he was probably one of the best playoff performers they had, if not the best playoff performer they had. So for them not to be able to offer him anything of substance, where I mean, you got to imagine if Bertuzzi goes to Toronto and he lights it up, they try to make it work there. And I would also assume that at a certain point throughout the season, then re-up with Toronto, and then that won't affect their cap for this season. It would going forward, but with everything that happened in Toronto and all the awesome moves they make, they're still over the salary cap. And right now, the name that keeps popping up is William Nylander, and his camp are asking for north of about 9.5. Even in some cases, people are saying it's over 10 million. What he's asking for. There's not a chicken dick's chance that they can pay him that, unless of course Matthews is sayonara. But all signs are leading to them signing him. But as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan and supporter of the organization, if you have to part ways with one guy, and I think that the haul you can get based on what his cap is going to be this year coming up in this hard cap, ridiculous situation that the league is dealing with, the haul that you can get and the areas that you can address that you're having problems with Toronto, I think that you can figure it out by getting rid of Nylander. It sucks because even like from his standpoint and what he's making, I would say most Leafs fans would agree, come playoff time, he's been their best player and risen to the occasion, especially in that second series. And even going back to last year, I think he was probably their best playoff performer. So, but you just saw what Dubois ended up getting the haul for. Could you imagine what William Nylander coming in at $7 million for this season for some desperate teams looking for a cup, what they'd be willing to part ways with? So that's kind of all the chaos that's happening. I love the Max Domi signing because I feel like he's a good middle six guy. I think that with him going back there with his old man's legacy, I think he's going to have a little extra pep in his step and more physicality to his game. And I think we saw that with Dallas, where he really embodied that team. So he is capable of it. And then Klingberg, there's no risk there. You relieve the offensive pressure on the power play off of Morgan Riley.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
And he gets to worry about playing just like shut down D and also being that second layer of offensive defense that they need on whatever power play. So excellent job by Tree and the boys to fill in some holes. And hey, is there still work to be done? Absolutely. But do you guys not agree that with Nylander making what he's making, they could really go out there and finally get another big Dame D, maybe another great middle six, maybe even potential top six forward, and then maybe even a prospect?
So what are you thinking? They just wait this year out, right? Like they just say, okay, we'll hold off on extension on Nylander. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the landscape shapes out better. Maybe they can afford it. Maybe he's out of their range to make a quality team. And he's one of the guys that they might look to trade. Is this the year? Is this a year you're saying that they could still do some stuff and sit with that $7 million, like you said, with him this year? I
think that so right now as it sits, they're one of 5 teams that are like drastically over the cap.
Yeah, they're $8 million over the cap right now. Currently.
So
they got to trade them.
So something's got to bend, right? Something's got to, and I would imagine with him saying, "Hey, we're not going to get anything done less than $9.5 million with the agency on an extension." You just his value is so much more valuable now given this season coming up and how everybody's jammed up and how much he brings to the table, and he's only making $7 million. So that's a very difficult decision for Tree Living and crew to make moving forward. But overall, A+ being put under the gun.
They did a great job. This is the problem though, in terms of the guys taking as much as they can get, because then Nylander's sitting there like, I'm not taking any sort of discount. None of those guys did. Where we've talked about like the Pittsburgh model, like it was always just everyone a little bit less. And so when you get Matthews and Marner at these huge numbers, it's like Nylander, who rightfully so is like, I'm not taking a discount here. Nobody else took a discount. So if he really wants to be in Toronto, he'll have to. But I agree with you, Biz. Like you just brought in Bertuzzi, that's big time offensive help. Like, look to see what you get right now. A sign and trade, an extension and trade, and try to bring in some stuff. That the only thing is, a team who would maybe want him that's like competing or thinks they'll compete for the cup. I don't know if they're going to give you any big pieces of their current team, right? Like they almost want to bring him in terms of like just adding to what they already have. But you could definitely get a boatload in return for him.
Yeah, you're gonna need a high draft pick. You're going to need a competent top 4 defenseman who's on a really good contract, who's not making much money. And then hopefully you can get one more player that you can add who can make a difference. And That's
What about Calgary?
Who do you got, Merles?
Yeah, I think not to get too far ahead of us, but I thought one of the strangest signings of the whole day was Orlov going to Carolina. And Witt is on record many times. Carolina needs an offensive superstar. So did Carolina sign Orlov, one, to maybe trade him, or knowing they're going to trade one of their other top fours to Toronto?
Everyone's saying Pesci's up.
Well, so Brent Burns is up for contract, right?
Not this year, I don't think.
Okay, so they have Burns, Orlov, they have Slavin.
They have what's his name from Philly that's going to kick in.
And then D'Angelo's coming
D'Angelo.
back. I could see them potentially parting ways with one of those guys and snagging Nylander, and he's already got the Bunting connection. I don't know how many other teams make sense, and I haven't gone over it yet because this whole situation just happened. But as far as him going anywhere, boys, do you guys have any other teams?
No.
I don't know. I always say expect the unexpected with a lot of these guys. You know, I just who needs them the most, who can give them up. Like you said, Carolina, they got all those top 4D guys. I don't think they're going to be able to pay all those dudes. By the way, Bunting, 3 years, $14.5 million.
Okay.
That's who asked a few minutes ago. But anyways, what about Ryan O'Reilly? How about everyone Leafs land loved him. He goes to Nashville, 4-year, $18 million deal. Then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, he sucks. He was a locker room cancer. We don't want him anyways. It's like, dude, you're stroking him off.
Get off the internet, RA.
No.
Get off Twitter.
I mean, a lot of people will whine about it. But Biz, I kind of thought, like, all right, so Barry Trotz, he got rid of Duchesne, he got rid of Johansson, the two highest paid forwards on the team. I kind of compared that to maybe Billy Guerin, what he did with getting rid of Parise and Suter. Like, he maybe had to reboot the whole culture of the locker room. You think that might be a good comparison?
Yeah, I would imagine that's exactly why. I mean, I think we were all shocked, though, that Duchesne did get bought out.
Yes.
I mean, no?
Yeah, I am. I mean, you look at that lineup there that they had, and those are their marquee guys. And I mean, their team played well down the stretch, and they didn't have him. They didn't have Johansson. They didn't even have the captain, freaking Yossi in the lineup down the stretch. Forsberg was out, and they were just running with these young guys that were just almost played their balls off into the playoffs. And I think Barry Trotz is trying to come in with some pop. He's been saying it like crazy. And I know he was at home in the draft, boys, but tell me if I'm wrong, but like Barry Trotz made some bold moves by doing that. I didn't see it coming. I thought he's worked out fairly well in Nashville for a guy that seems to go everywhere he goes is like the team loses, but for the most part, seemed to fit in pretty well there. So a bold move, I think, Busy, in that buyout and changing the look of their lineup completely with new guys coming in.
And as far as Ryan O'Reilly's concerned, the Toronto experiment didn't work out. He went there, he played well. I thought he's solid in playoffs for him. And he's already won his Stanley Cup, right? So sometimes the appeal to go back home and dealing with all that media nonsense is just like,
he's a country and western guy.
Yeah, he likes to play his guitar.
He's cool. He likes a beer.
There's no. Not to say that he's afraid of pressure or anything like that, but like Biz said, he won. He's in an area and a team that, there's one reporter in the room. It's just such a different vibe in terms of like what you're dealing with away from the rink, being able to go places. So it kind of made sense to me that he got his shot in Toronto and probably was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to deal with this daily grind every single day.
Yeah.
Bring me some,
If I had Ryan O'Reilly's career and you would have asked me what I would have done, I said, I'm not going back to fucking Toronto. And I think that like fans and or media members are naive to think that if they don't think that that added part of it makes guys roll their eyes and they're like, we want no fucking part of this, especially guys who have already won before, you're out of your minds.
Like him and Schenner. Him and Schenner both.
Hey, listen, and then the rebuttal is, well, it takes a special type of person to want to play in Toronto and succeed here to handle the media pressure. It's like, there's also a lot of nonsense that comes along with it, and it's gotten worse since the quote-unquote heydays, in my opinion, with the ridiculousness of like some of the reporting and what these guys are getting asked day in and day out and what they're trying to create drama out of. So it's like the last 2-3 years, I think they've started out 500 out of the gate after 12 games, and everybody's ready to sell the fucking farm.
And I thought they were going to bring back Schenn in Toronto too. I mean, he played awesome in the playoffs. He's a guy that's, revived and revamped his career and played really well. And he follows O'Reilly right from the Leafs room right down to Smashville. RA's their new agent, I think, down there. He'll be setting up shop. But Two good veteran guys, like you said, busy with cups.
There is.
And speaking of culture in Toronto,
oh, we almost forgot one.
You mentioned Revo. And Revo gave an amazing interview, like right when he was brought in. He's kind of talking about, I go into locker rooms and, I kind of chirp guys right away. I'm not a quiet guy. And on the ice, I want guys to feel safe. I'll go beat up somebody and that'll be the end of that. And just kind of like announced his presence. And like, obviously like the analytical people and some people were dogging the deal. But like, I just can't stress enough how important it is to have toughness in your lineup. And for a Toronto team that is just kind of soft, like they've never really had that, or at least recently had that like warrior in their room where it's like, all right, if anything goes down, we got this guy. Like, he's not going to play a ton of minutes, not going to score a ton of goals, but in the room, he keeps everyone alive. He keeps all the jokes flying. And then on the ice, it is like a feeling of safety and kind of doing whatever you want. We got Revo. We're going to chuck him on the ice and nobody will do a thing. So I like that move. I mean, granted, 3 years I was surprised at. I thought maybe 2, but I was happy for him because he's the man. And now he gets the chance to go somewhere where, like, with the media nonsense, he doesn't give a fuck. And I care at all.
And let me tell you this:
it's gonna help his career because it's gonna be able after
hockey too.
Oh, big time. And you know who else it helps? It helps guys like Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi and a few other guys in that lineup who need to play with a little bit of sandpaper. Where now they're like, well, if Bertuzzi wants to play like that and be an asshole in front of the net, he doesn't have to worry about fighting that night. He says, "Oh, you want to fight? There's Revo," and Revo's gladly going to do it, right? And then in some cases in the National Hockey League now, there's probably about 10 teams in the league that don't even have any signs of remote toughness. Where maybe Revo's not in the lineup that night, and you insert a different guy, but he's not going to be the guy in the press box or in the locker room and being healthy scratched, fucking kicking up dust because he's the odd man out. So I view it as such a, like you said, with a culture signing, the protection, and just having a great guy around to help continue to gel that team together.
Well, this is what I always hear, guys, and you can tell me this, and Merle's put your coach's hat on, a great mind for hockey. When you're in, you need, and all of us have it, we got personality, but when you're day-to-day, every day in that dressing room, what did Revo said? I like to plan the parties. I like to get the team together. I like to do the dinners. I like to do this. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You need guys like that. Oh, we need skill. We need speed. We need, dynamic forwards. And we need, you need personality in your room too. And he's got plenty of it to go around. And he's a guy that's going to stir the drink. And he's a guy that's going to be in there every day when it's February 3rd and it sucks and the media's hard on us. Boo-hoo. Revo's going to face it head on and he's going to rally the boys. He's going to get them going. The stuff that you don't see. And lots of people don't talk about this shit, but that shit's important. Ryan O'Reilly's a guy like that too, but that's what brings value, way more value day to day.
I don't need a fucking toe drag. I need somebody to hand out the March Madness brackets.
Yeah.
We can all get our money in time and collect it and have it organized.
Called it glue guy. You got to have glue guys around.
You need guys like RA booking dinners. 12 of us coming in. Where's the restaurant? I thought it was here, but actually we got it.
But
right here behind the secret door.
RA got.
And look at his his impact on Mini last year. I mean, he got like a huge bump when he got there. I know they fanned out in the playoffs, but also, Biz, of the 5 guys they signed, he's the only one who signed for more than a year. He's the oldest one at 36, but it'll be money well spent for them. Just back to O'Reilly real quick. $4.5 million he's going to makes him the highest paid forward on Nashville this year. Also, you mentioned Luke Shen.
What about Forsberg?
I'm pretty sure he's. Is he on LTIR right now?
Yeah, he is. Okay. He was at the end of the year.
If he still is, I didn't scroll down.
He's in their lineup now. He's out now.
But that's why let's not forget. That's probably why both of those guys went there instead of Toronto. There's no way Toronto would have offered them kind of deals. I can't see that. That's great money down there, tax free, and all the other stuff. They're getting paid for their culture bringing, I would guess, than their hockey.
Forsberg makes 8.5.
Okay, yeah, because he's technically not in the roster right now, so he's not up that high. I think. -1. Also, Gustav Nyquist, they signed 2 years, 6.37, and Chen signed for 3 years, $8.25 million. You already mentioned Pierre-Luc Dubois. Biz, he did a little sign and trade action. We're starting to see these a lot more in the NHL. The Kings finally got him after a lot of negotiating, and it wasn't cheap either. The Jets extended him with the 8-year, $68 million deal, and then they got back Alex Iafallo, Gabe Velati, Rasmus Kupari, and a second in 24. I mean, is that price Two big win, which everyone seems
I
to think.
think.
We kind of went over this Monday because we heard that was kind of what was going to happen, and we mentioned the names. And I think Biz mentioned he wasn't too worried about losing Iafallo. Velarde definitely hurts. I mean, a young guy who can score. But in terms of like just lining up the middle of the ice, that's what we talked about last week. It's like, oh my God, Kopitar, Deneau, and Dubois. Like you're now looking at not only are they all good defensively and they all can score, but they're all big. And you saw Vegas and the size and like I'm still not scared and not petrified like Biz thought I would be of LA in terms of me being an Oilers fan, but they're a better team now than they were. And that's what's most important.
The amount of Columbus fans and Winnipeg fans all over me about like you're saying this guy's a superstar, he's all this and all that. It's like, that's not what I said last podcast. What I said is as far as guys through the middle of the ice that are available and who can make an impact in your lineup, who I would say that Dubois is a second line center on most teams in the National Hockey League, if not at least 28 of them. There might be a few teams that have a better 1-2 punch when Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing his game. So they needed to solidify the middle of their ice. They need to hedge the bet on what's going on with Kopitar. My assumption is Kopitar ends up signing like a 3-4 year extension with LA at a decent home discount in order to keep that team together. But Rob Blake has done an excellent job of making them relevant again quickly, in the fact that you got Doughty and Kopitar on the back nine, right? I still think that they're going to be set up decent now when those guys are gone, but you had to push your chips in the middle to say, these guys have brought the organization 2 cups. I still think they got a little bit of gas left in the tank, and now it just solidifies your middle of the ice. So do I think that Dubois I think he got paid $8.5 million, correct? Do I like that? Do I like that amount of money that he's being paid now? No, I think he's a little bit overpaid. But you got to look past this year as far what you're going to do for your team and how the center ice position is so important and how you have to look in order to win championships. Look at what we just saw. You just mentioned Vegas, right, Merles? And what they did. Look at their top 3 center. All legitimate top 3 center. And I believe that that's what LA went out and solidified. And if they have to overpay for the first few years based on what we've seen so far from Dubois, sure. But that's definitely where the market is for a guy like that. And considering that any team that has a guy of his caliber, they're locking him in at that number anyway.
Well, think about those 3 too.
They don't teams don't let centers like that walk anymore. They fucking lock him into long-term big boy type contracts. And so in 2-3 years, if he's able to, for the 40 games you get out of Pierre-Luc Dubois a year where you're like, holy fuck, this guy could be a number 1 center in the league. And then the other ones you're like, he might be a third line center on a Stanley Cup winning team. I think that number ended up being in the perfect place, and it was a must-make deal for Rob Blake, in my opinion.
Think about those 3-headed monster they have there too. Not only are they like good players and can produce, they check.
They check.
I mean, they're unbelievable at checking. So you got 3 guys down the middle, not only like good players, they can throw, as Busy would say, a wet blanket on you big time. And all 3 of them are known to be able to do that too, to be able to check and also produce. So that's,
and 2 years in a row, 2 years in a row losing to Edmonton. It's kind of like, it's like Toronto when they were all they thought about was beating Tampa. Like right now, LA's entire goal is we just got to get through Edmonton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously Vegas is in that division. They just won the cup. But you come off 2 years where you couldn't shut them down defensively. It's like, all right, let's just get another big body in here that can skate. So
Busy, you guys feel okay about Talbot in there? They got Talbot to come in too, and net. You feel okay about him?
Cheap money.
I think that what we saw was when you have a good enough team, like we talk about the copycat league where it's like, if you're not giving up that many scoring chances, you're able to generate and you're shutting down the middle of the ice. I think that, you could put a fucking shooter tutor in there and win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, like we just talked about with Witt. They have to beat Edmonton and Vegas for the next 5 years. That's who they got to beat. Neither one of them have an all-star goalie, really. I guess Skinner was considered an all-star, but not an all-world goalie. So all 3 of those teams are trying to be built the same way almost.
Yeah. I couldn't believe Korpisalo got 5 years. times 5 or whatever it was.
Oh, he was excellent for LA.
I know.
I think that's huge for where is he? Ottawa, right?
Ottawa,
It's
yeah.
unbelievably huge for them.
I know.
That's
Ottawa,
so big.
Ottawa and Detroit are those teams who need to take the step this year. They need to. And Buffalo. And as you see what happened to Boston, it's kind of like this is the time where one of those 3 teams has to be in the playoffs next year. We thought there was a chance this year it would happen.
Hey, Colorado too. They got Joanne. They got Johansson. They got that Ross Colton from Colorado, from Tampa Bay. I just think
Miles Wood.
Yeah, Miles. Look at their team right now. What they've done too. Joe Sakic. Hello. They're still right there as well. So there's another team in the West that LA has to worry about as well.
Yeah, Cam Talbot, 1 year, $1 million, and David Riddick for backup. What did he get? It was $875,000. Right now, they only got under $4 million on 3 goalies. So obviously, only going to keep 2. You figure Talbot will start, the other 2 will fight it out for backup, but not a lot of money. Like you were just saying, Biz, put a shooter out there. So see what happens with those boys. Our buddy Kevin Hayes, we were waiting on that trade for a long time, but he ends up going to St. Louis. Let's see, for 6th-round pick they got back. Philly's going to eat half that salary. Got 3 years left in the deal. Do you think it was solely because of the Torts relationship, or maybe other factors within the organization? But that might
I think so. I think the team's looking. I mean, they're looking to kind of completely start over, and obviously Torts was not a fan of Hazy. I was lucky enough. So Hazy flew down. He had his bachelor party. He came down to Nashville for Wednesday, and he went and did all his media availability, and he did his physicals and all that. And then we went and played golf and. Just talking to him, he's so excited. I mean, we've said it many times that the downtown of St. Louis isn't exactly beautiful. That's probably putting it lightly. But the outskirts and where guys live and how so many people play there and never leave, it's actually an unreal city to play in. So I think Hazy's super excited. And when I look at his game, he's an all-star last year. I mean, now you're getting him at 3.5. I mean, that's a pretty good deal for St. Louis, right? They should have given up a 6th-rounder, and you're paying him 3.5. It's like, I think that's a great move for him and the team. Army was super excited. Doug Armstrong, in terms of talking about getting him, and when he talked to Hazy, how pumped he was for him to be a part of the organization. So I'm just happy he got away from Torts. And Torts has a lot more power in Philly than people realize. He's got managerial decisions there. I mean, he's up on press conferences sitting next to Briere and Keith Jones when they're doing things. Somehow, some way, Torts is partly running the show there. I don't really get it, but we'll have Hazy on at some point to discuss everything, discuss last year and moving forward.
Yeah, he won't be able to wear the new/old jerseys. Philly released 3 versions. They kind of just look like the old ones. They make these little subtle touches to them and all that shit, of course, to make them some dough. But Philly, they signed a couple guys too. Mark Stahl, 1 year, $1.1 million. Garnet Hathaway, 2 years, $4.75 million. And Ryan Poling. Danny Briere, he's kind of doing the slow thing, but do you think, there's a sense of optimism maybe creeping in with the fans here just a little bit? They've been so
I just
think
the only thing is you got some young guys that they're trying to bring along, and it's gone full-blown sell-off, rebuild. They're gonna make they've made plenty of massive moves in moving, some big-name guys out of there, and so that I think if you're a Flyers fan, which I don't give a shit about because I live in Pittsburgh and go Pens go, but it's they've kind of ripped a Band-Aid off with some of the moves that they've made in trying to shed off guys and give it a new look and give some of their young guys a chance to go. So, you look at Frost, Tippett had a good year for them last year. They've got some other guys coming up that Forrester. They've got
Cutter Gauthier.
They got
Cutter
a Russian
Gauthier.
that kicks guys.
Russian that kicks guys. They've got Cutter Gauthier, another kid. Yeah,
Can I ask about Gauthier real quick?
Van Damme of Russia.
I don't know if you guys saw, but Gauthier was like, I'm not coming to develop.
We're not fucking talking about these Flyers anymore. They're going to stink for 2-3 years. Come on.
Gauthier didn't go
Until
to development
Michkov
camp,
gets
though,
over here, we're no longer talking about the Flyers. I love you, Jonesy. I love you, Briere, but you guys stink. And you treated our boy like shit, Torts.
Which is the
So
goal.
fuck you.
Which is the goal. I would say. Finally, they're going to be real bad.
They're going to be bad.
We talked about it on Game Notes. G had it that he would love Michkov to go to the Flyers because they're 3 or 4 years away. So keep sucking, get a top 3 pick again this year, and keep piling them on, and then bring them all in together.
Yep.
All right, before we go any further, here's a word from our friends at Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. I got my Shady Rays on right now. They're the baddest sunglasses out there. And Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've won. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for all your outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. It doesn't stop at the quality. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Each pair of their sunglasses are backed by their lost and broken program. If you lose or break your pair, even on day 1 or year 2, they will send you a brand new pair. Unbelievable. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't love them, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code Chiclets for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. I got mine on right now. They're the best out there. Shady Rays, go get some. All right, the Colorado Avalanche, they sent restricted free agent forward Alex Newhook to Montreal for the 31st and 37th picks in the draft last week, as well as prospect Johnny Fairbrother. Then they took that 37th pick, flipped it to Tampa for restricted free agent forward Ross Colton. So they basically swapped out Newhook for Colton and 2 prospects. That's some pretty savvy GM work. Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, real good. And Alex Newhook kind of had a big, not resume, but like the future looks super bright coming out of Boston College. And Kent Hughes used to be his agent, actually. They're very close. So I believe that there was a lot of personal connection in bringing him to Montreal and believing that he can still be a top 2-line player. I mean, he's still real young, but it kind of wasn't working in Colorado. So you feel as though if Hughes has known him his entire life and knows what he can do, that it's a good move for them. I was shocked at what they had to send back for him, right? I mean, that's 2 pretty high picks, and you got to believe that Hughes knows that he's got a pretty special player in his hand. So Montreal's, it's interesting now. It's like, how good is Kirby Dach going to be? Had a great year last year, right? Can he continue to get better? You got him. You got Newhook now kind of looking to get things going again, a fresh start. And you have a team that with the pick of, I think it was Redenbacher or whatever his name was, the Austrian D-man, like the future's bright in Montreal, I think. It's all about can the fans stand it? Because last year I think they were pretty cool with going this route and trying to rebuild, and they got Caulfield signed to that nice deal and St. Louis there. But it is an antsy fan base. So it's like, all right, maybe this year they can struggle. After that, you're going to start hearing the chirps and the boo birds and the Montreal natives in terms of them being frustrated if the team doesn't continue to get better. But it's kind of wait and see for Montreal with me right now.
All right, he just answered your question from earlier for you. Would you rather forget the guy's name or just make up one?
Orville.
There you go, Merles.
Good call, Merles. Thanks to Newhook, too.
That was probably exactly what was in Carey Price's head, too. It was like Orville Redenbacher.
The popcorn
100%.
guy.
Yep. No free ads.
Yeah, I got to thank Alex Newhook. He actually did give me an invite to his cup party last year. Didn't have to sneak into that one, so pretty good time. But I want to say thanks for that. Avalanche also re-upped RFA D-man Bowen Byram, 2 years, $7.7 million. And how about this deal? Miles Wood, 6 years, $15 million. Biz, did this kind of catch you off guard like a bunch of other people?
I just thought that the length, given the length that everybody else was getting, but I mean, it's hard to find guys that big who are willing to fight, who can move and play like him. So he's kind of I would view him as like a poor man's Tom Wilson. So I feel like the number came in at a decent spot. So I think that it's definitely a swing. And I like Miles Wood, and I like what he brings. And I think that because he skates so well, that it works in Colorado. And they needed to bolster up some toughness up front.
They're so fast to begin with, Biz. He fits in their team perfect, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Chushkin, but if he's able to come back and then Landeskog, then you're looking like, holy fuck, we got a lot of big meat up front to play off all that talent. But even if, let's say, I don't know what's going on with Chushkin. I don't know what's going on with Landy's knee. So at least it's a reserve on having some bigger guys in the lineup who can move and can help chip away. Now, I would probably say he's a hybrid between a third and fourth liner. Like he could probably move up to the third line as he progresses and maybe gets better as the years go on. Or would you label him as a fourth liner?
I would just say I think you know what he is. I think he's a fast straight line guy. He plays physical. He gets on forechecks. He hounds pucks. He can take pucks to the net. He's an in-your-face guy. And if you get him at a good price and you know what he is, if he can stay healthy, what's wrong with the 6 years? You know what I mean?
I would say that if you're making that, you got to get between 10 and 15 goals, and you got to be helping out on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Like if he's making that much money, he's got to be a top 4 forward penalty killer.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They're gonna miss.
He was
they're
great
gonna
for
miss
New-
JT Compher though, man.
Yeah.
And
He's a beast.
I like that signing by Detroit. 5 years, I think it's 5.1 a year. Like he was, I mean, it was his best year of his career. He was a monster last season.
He was a monster in those playoffs too.
Yeah.
When they ended up winning it, and you go look back to the Newhook thing. They were hoping Newhook. He started the year last year, second line center. They thought he was going to progress in that position after they lost Kadri. Whereas I felt like Compher had to step into that second line center role, and he did an excellent job with it. So if you got JT Compher as your third line center, you're in really good shape if you got two guys that are better than him ahead of him. But I would imagine in Detroit next year, he's probably playing second line center.
Yeah. No doubt.
Well, Miles' former team, the Devils, Pasha's team, they made a move for goal scoring and experience. They got Tyler Toffoli. They sent the restricted free agent Igor Sharangovich and a third to Calgary. Sharangovich then signed for 2 years, $6.2 million with Calgary. Toffoli's in the last year of a deal paying him $4.25 million. I'm not sure if the price was too high. They also signed Timo Meier, 8 years, $70.4 million, $8.8 a year. Was that too high, you think, Merles, for Timo Meier?
Yeah, you know, guys, I made it clear about my Timo Meier, but he did make me look like a fool when they beat the Rangers, even though he didn't do too much. You know, Pasha had all the analytics when this all went down at Nashville. He knew everything, that the dollar amount for the goals and the size that New Jersey needed. So I go to Pasha on this. He loved both signings. He loved Toffoli because of the experience. You're trying to build a cup-winning team. Those young guys, we saw those guys down in Nashville. I was trying to get on the New Jersey bandwagon. I was rubbing shoulders with Jack Hughes and Lindy Ruff and Fitzy, and I was like, I'm in on the Devils, but Pasha said, no, you can't come. So I'm out as them.
Cock block.
I think they're great signings. I really like the Devils.
Oh, that's such a crafty signing to bring Toffoli over as like another guy who could maybe get you 30, 35 in that line.
Pasha wasn't sure, busy.
Yeah,
he was like, really? I don't
He didn't like it
know.
till we told him.
Yeah.
No.
He's gonna get like 30. Like that's what he does.
I think New Jersey looks dangerous.
I
going
think
into
they're
next
so
year.
good.
They're so dangerous.
Even like, and then it's Vanacek or Schmid, and Schmid was so good coming in the playoffs. I do think like the defense maybe takes a small step back, which Pasha came on and mentioned, like Severson being gone and having some young guys step in.
I don't necessarily. I don't think that the Graves is as big as a loss as people.
I know, but when you lose two of your top four, I feel like it's just a little bit of a question. But the Devils up front, and that's what I'm saying about the contracts. Like, so Meier, I mean, their highest paid player is Hamilton, but up front now Meier, he makes more than Hughes, he makes more than Brad. It's like they have guys at reasonable numbers, let alone next summer, a year from now, when the cap jumps up $5 million. So it's like I think that team this year could easily I'm not gonna say easily, but they're gonna compete for the Stanley Cup. I think they're right there.
Yeah, and if Luke Hughes as a defense, like that's probably why they moved away from those two guys. If Luke Hughes can progress the way that Jack Hughes did and Quinn Hughes, buddy, look out. They got that guy on entry level for fucking 3 years. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I just want to party with their dad.
I think it would be 2 because he played last year.
2 years because that last game, that burns a year. Oof.
They got another kid from Europe, Slovakia, Nemec, too. He's like the second best rated prospect in the world right now.
Yeah, Pasha's laughing, boys.
Yep.
I know.
He might take my seat on the podcast now.
Yeah, they also picked up defenseman Colin Miller from Dallas for a 5th in 2025, and they traded Mackenzie Blackwood. He was an RFA goalie to San Jose for a 6th rounder last week. San Jose then gave him a 2-year, $4.7 million deal. San Jose also traded for Anthony Duclair. They got him from Florida for $3 million. They sent back Steven Lorenz and a 5th to Florida.
What a tough bounce for Dookie, man. He fit in so good there. The guys love him. He found a place that he truly loved. You could tell. and then he gets shipped off from to San Jose. But the good news is he's got 1 year left on his deal at $3 million, and he's easily going to play in that top six and be relied upon. So he'll be given the ice time to go earn his probably what would be his biggest deal. But just I would imagine they moved off of him to sign Rodriguez. Like, I was surprised to see Rodriguez get what he got. He got 4 years at $3 million a year, $12 million, didn't he? And from a guy who played in Pittsburgh Army. What did you like about his game? He's got some wheels on him, obviously.
Well, real skilled.
Well, they lost him, right? He went to Colorado last year, and thankfully they had him because they had some injuries, and he was able, which what he did in Pittsburgh. Gino got hurt, and he popped up in there, and he can play wing, he can play center. He loves ripping the puck. He's got good engine. He competes hard, and he's versatile through the lineup. So I think a good kind of, I guess I'd say like a Swiss Army knife type of guy that can bounce around all over your lineup a little bit, but I think generally wants to be like if he could float around at a second line, third line situation. But I think he can play with good players too for stretches. So I think he kind of lost out on when he didn't sign back in Pitt. I think he wanted more and then had to go and, prove it again in Colorado and have a good season. And he did. He was a big time player for them down the stretch, and a big time guy for them that filled in really nicely. So I think earned his money and earned his contract with that deal he had, because he's been a guy that's been able to produce.
And very interesting time in Florida, because you got Montour out, you're going to have Ekblad out, you lost Gudis, you lost Mark Stahl. So it's going to be one of those things where you just got to quickly kind of retool and regrow from having this amazing run that they just went on to all of a sudden losing the heart and soul of your D in the fucking barbarian Gudis, who goes to, I believe he went to Anaheim, correct?
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm.
So he goes out to Anaheim, and then Mark Stahl, obviously he's gone now. So it's going to be a weird start of the year for them, I think. But we'll see if Ekman Larson can play well.
That's what I was going to say. Do not fear. Oliver Ekman Larson is here. What do you get? $2 million? I think that he's going to go there and figure it out, buddy.
1 year.
What's he going to do? He's going to get those reps early on, and with Montour out of the lineup, he's going to be snapping it on the peeps with all those guys.
Yeah, he could do that.
I know we talked a little bit about Carolina earlier. Dmitry Orlov, 2-year deal, $15.5 million, $2.65 million raise. So imagine being 32 in the NHL to get that big of a raise. That's pretty good stuff, huh, Ami?
He didn't get the term, right? So they got to pay. Carolina likes those. They like the short deals. They don't want to commit too much to certain guys.
And like I said, Bunton, 3 years, $14.5 million. I mean, he was probably the ballsiest.
I love when guys get paid. I love it, RA.
Great.
I love when guys get paid.
I mean, Bunton went from $950,000 up to fucking $4.5 million. That's a dynamite bump. Plus, he's the ballsy guy. I thought he was, like I just said, ballsiest player that Toronto probably had last couple of years. I mean, they weren't the prettiest fucking team out there.
He owes Biz. He owes you like, what's the agent fee these days? 4 or 5%. You've been on him for 3 or 4 years now, pumping his tires.
Yeah,
I'd send that invoice.
I should
over.
be getting a sliver. If we're out one time at the same restaurant, he better be paying my tab.
Canes also bringing back the same goalies from last year. Freddie, 2 years, $6.8 million, and Ranta's getting 1 year, $1.5 million, and they also re-upped Jesper Fast, 2 years, $4.8 million. He'll be back. So they got a little stronger than they were last year. See what happens with them. The Capitals picked up Joel Edmondson from the Habs for a third and a seventh and 24. Habs eating half that deal. They also signed Max Pacioretty, 2 year, $4 million deal. Didn't quite work out for him in Carolina with the injuries. But the big news for the Capitals was getting the Western Mass stud, Ryan Leonard, with the 8th pick last week in Nashville. And we were lucky enough to sit down with him and the number 2 pick from Sweden, Leo Carlsson. So, boys, we're going to send it over to them right now. All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Sport Clips. Gentlemen, we want it all. We want to play it by ear and have definite plans. We want to overshare life stories and remain mysterious. We want to be hip and wear the same sweatshirt every day. But sadly, we can't have it all. Unless we're at Sport Clips Haircuts, where we can tune into the game and tune out work pings, where we can put our hair in the hands of pros and put our brains on Do Not Disturb. At Sport Clips, we get an unbeatable haircut and some uninterrupted downtime with the MVP experience, complete with massaging shampoos and hot steamed towels. In other words, We get to have it all. Walk in or check in online. Sport Clips. It's a game changer. All right, next up, we have 2 for the price of 1. These young men are in town for the NHL draft, and both of them will hear their names pretty early in the program. Talk much. From Sweden, we have Leo Carlsson, and from Massachusetts, Ryan Leonard. Thanks a bunch for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast. How you enjoying Nashville so far?
It's been good. I mean, kind of good. I had a 13-hour car drive from New York here, but otherwise it's been good.
Yeah, I want to ask about that. Your flight was canceled from Newark, so you got an up-close and personal look at the U.S. travel system here, huh? Had to get a minivan and drive down overnight. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I think I slept like 1 hour, and then I woke up 1 hour. Yeah, back to back all the time. So kind of rough, but it was it's worth it.
There you go, absolutely.
Yeah.
He just got to catch up on all the Spittin Chiclets, he told me, so that's nice. Listen to all our shows on the way down.
Exactly.
Learned some good American profanity, no doubt.
Listening to RA talk the whole way is like, Jesus Christ.
It's like I'm going to stay in Sweden. What about real Ryan, huh? Not as tough a commute, I'm guessing.
No, I actually didn't have the easiest thing either. Last night, the plane we got on was delayed 40 minutes originally, and then got on the plane, said it was going to be another 90 minutes at the gate. So we got off, and then, got back on the plane, left, went to Atlanta, and then sprinting off the plane, trying to catch our next flight to get to here. And then
You didn't even have a one-way?
No.
Dude, you're going in the first round.
Cater, Matt Cater, super agent. Get these guys.
Everyone knows
private
Matt Cater, the man who gave us Big Z, one of the super agents in the league, and he's getting his guy a friggin' connector.
He should have a wheels up plan.
Hey, Chiclets Air. We might have to do the draft too. We might get another.
Hey,
trip.
boys, they knew they were coming on Chiclets, so they went like rate par for the course Chiclets travel stories.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
off.
I was saying, this is music to my ears. I was stuck in Toronto for 24 hours. I still have PTSD from it.
Hold on.
It
Spirit
shows
Airlines.
the team they could deal with adversity.
Huh? Was it Spirit?
No, not Spirit. Not Spirit.
Just making sure.
Not Spirit.
He had to pay to use the overhead compartment. Leonard, start with you and both you guys. I mean, is it nervousness right now? Is it excitement? Is it just kind of like I can't wait for it to be over after all the discussion? How you feeling?
Yeah, I think probably all what you just said is true. There's a lot of nerves that go into it, but then it's also a lot of excitement. Been a long year with all the interviews and all that, but you just gotta like embrace it and kind of make the most of it. So.
Any teams grill you?
No, I mean, you hear all those combine stories, and then like you go into every interview like, when am I gonna get ripped? And then
nothing.
I think they're on their P's and Q's now that we've been calling them out. The Stevie Bonrick story.
I got nothing. Yeah,
Yzerman just has a gravity bong in there for his favorite prospect.
San Jose would legit have an older. San Jose would have an older guy in there like challenging prospects to like oil wrestle and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. What about you, Leo?
I mean, same. I mean, I'm nervous. I mean, not that nervous, but I'm excited and nervous at the same time. I mean, I just want to see what teams pick me. To be honest, just and then go from there.
Were you always projected to go pretty high in the first round, or have you moved up quite a bit over the last year?
I think Merles has really launched him into the strategy.
EBR, we moved him up.
Merles helped me a lot.
Merles, you might be getting a kickback for agency fees there.
Merles has been talking about him since last August, so I respect it.
So that's when you kind of came on the radar of knowing that you were probably going to be drafted at the top of the first round.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the start of this season. I think I had a pretty good first 10 games and stuff. So after those games, I kind of knew that I was going high.
Awesome.
Were you in the elite league last year?
Yeah, I played 35 games and then like 14 in the under-20s.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this league that he's in, Merles?
Yeah, it's SHL. His team actually knocked out my team in the playoffs. There was 7-game series, so I watched them all year. I tried to get some interviews on him, and Power Agent Cater's like, no, leave the kid alone during the playoffs. We'll get him at the draft. So here we are. I knew about him last year. I mean, you're 16 years old. I think you had a cage on. You got to wear the cage. That's how young he was. You got to wear a cage because he's so young in the men's league. Like, this is the top league in Europe. Outside the KHL, the Swedish league's the best league, and he was 16 playing in it and holding his own.
And did you get to play lots? I find Sweden too is like really kind of old school.
They play 4 lines a lot.
Well, no, they don't play young guys that much. Like when they come in, and it's a men's league, and it's hard. Like I played with a guy Malte Stromwell in Vecwa, and he was young. He left the WHL to come back to play. He's a good player. He could fly too, but he play like 4 shifts a game.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the team. I think.
Yeah.
Örebro is good with the young players. I think. bring up a lot. But as you said, 4 lines that just go hard. Pretty boring hockey, to be honest with you. Defensive hockey.
It really is.
It is Nashville.
I played
actually.
in the KHL, and I went over and asked him Merles because he played in 14 different leagues, and he's like, it's actually, there's no 2-on-1s, like no, it's just very defensive hockey, and it's like way harder to play in than the KHL. So I mean, it'll be good to get you ready for the NHL in terms of like having to be good defensively, but that's true.
That's why Swedes can always just come over and just plug right in. They're like scared to lose.
Like he was running the 5-on-3 for their team. He's the guy down near the post running the whole thing. He's out there against the top lines. Whoever drafts him this week is getting a complete player. That's the tire pump. Then I'm going to fight you.
Thank you.
Then I'm going to fight you after for knocking Timmer out.
Thank you.
Matt, send that memo.
I think I had like maybe 3 2-on-1s the whole season.
Yeah, I know.
So it's better.
Just shot blocking. There's no room. I thought I was going to go there. I was going to dangle for once in my life. No.
Fourth line.
No, just defense shut down. Gong show. I'm like, I did this my whole life.
I would say usually as a top prospect, they kind of say, what your strengths and weaknesses are. What would you say the biggest part of your game that they want you to advance as far as where you are in your career? Like, what are you lacking maybe?
I think my first 3 steps in my skating has to be faster. I think my top speed is good, but the 3 steps has to be better, and then I can shoot more. I think those 2 things that I have
pass
to give
first mentality right now.
Yeah. I said I have right now. So that needs change to both.
And Lenny, for you, I mean, what I've heard in talking to scouts is, especially with how the playoffs kind of went down this year. I guess every year you're hard nosed, and that's why guys want. And that's why I think you're really like going to be wanted to be a high pick, is because you're willing to play that physical style. You get in people's face. Has that always been your game growing up? You are a Western Mass kid, so
basically like a Western leaguer.
That explains. And
he's a little brother too, so he's got
a little brother, exactly. Yeah. But has that always been your game, just hard nosed?
Yeah, it's kind of just like what made the game fun for me.
No shit.
Waiting for like that, growing up, you can't hit all that. You got that like one age group when you can finally smash people. I was kind of waiting for that, and then that just kind of like made the game fun for me, and then that's just kind of like who my identity's kind of been like.
Do you have a quick wick? Like, have you been scrapping too?
No, I'm not there yet. Couple scraps in the summer, like my brother Frank Vetrano just ripping my helmet off and trying to beat the crap out of me, but
that's because he heard you were getting the same tattoo of the Springfield
I was going to ask that greasy
tattoo. How about that tattoo?
I like it.
Of course you do. Yeah, you're from Springfield. That's why.
That is disgusting.
It's awesome.
But I want to ask, I was talking to you before about your dad, and a lot of guys, they get into hockey because their dad played, and your dad was actually drafted in the NBA, coached high school basketball forever. So was he like kind of staying away in terms of trying to teach you the game because he didn't know much, or is he all well versed in hockey as well?
At the start, he kind of thought like
he knew what he was talking about.
He thought he knew what he was talking about. Kind of give you some pointers, and then like your basketball, but stuff like that.
We're not playing a zone defense, Pop. Shut up.
Yeah, but no, he's come a long way with all the rules, and they've kind of just been him and my mom just been kind of supportive our whole way.
Awesome.
Now, you're going to BC, right?
Yep.
To there.
Yep.
So, was the family all over you for not going to the zoo down the street?
No. I'm sure my dad was a little bit bummed because when my brother was there, he would always have the pregame parties there and everybody always there. But yeah, my parents were pretty supportive wherever I went.
And BC's, I mean, it's Will Smith, yourself, and there's a few. How many other guys from the national program are going there?
Me, Will, Gabe, Will Vogt.
Sounds like some super team stuff.
Well, I don't like it. I don't like Michigan.
Yeah,
because everybody goes to Michigan usually.
They all recruit. They all it's like LeBron. What LeBron does.
Yeah, the super teams.
Yeah,
but that's got to be exciting, right?
Yeah,
all you guys won the gold medal.
Yep.
Incredible game too, by the way. I remember watching that. You had to come back, and then all you guys are going there, so it's got to be pretty exciting, like in terms of knowing all the guys going in. Are there any other freshmen that aren't from the national program?
Yeah, I think we have 4 or 5 others.
Oh, okay.
So we got a big incoming.
You know
class.
who their assistant coach is?
Who?
The Buck. Brendan Buckley. Was he big on your
USA?
Was he big on your recruiting there?
Yeah. I think just all of them. That was when Coach York was there and kind of met with him and kind of built a good relationship with him. But yeah, they were all awesome.
Buck ripped my shirt off on the bus one time. He had enough of the old arm dog. Someone cracked a joke, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. He snapped. He came running back, grabbed my shirt, just boof, ripped it off me.
Buck was the one who taught me my favorite bar move, I think, is we were chatting one time. There was like 3 of us, and literally like middle of the conversation, all of a sudden he's like, dying laughing. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, just make it look like we're having so much fun. Everyone will want to hang out with us. I'm like, this is amazing. People are like, what are they? People are like, why are they having so much fun? I want to hang out with those guys. So you're in for a good treat with Puck.
Wheeled for the first time ever.
Yeah, I finally will.
Pick the square wheels off.
Still didn't work.
I'll give you an awesome compliment too. My dad loves hockey, lifer of hockey. Sent my son who's 13, just starting contact this year as well. All these clips of Lenny. All these clips. Watch this kid. This is how you got to play.
Who was your guy growing up that you loved in the NHL? Was there a particular player?
No, it wasn't. Just kind of like the Bruins.
Really?
Yeah, just kind of just watch the Bruins. And
so Luch, maybe?
Yeah, I loved when Luch was there.
Do you still like the Bruins, or did you jump off the bandwagon like RA did?
No. Still love the Bruins, though, yeah.
and Leo, did you have a player growing up, maybe a Swedish guy in the NHL that you kind of tried to pattern your game around?
He's like Jared Allen.
No, I was
or
Sid,
a bro
sure.
guy.
What?
Sid.
Wow,
Crosby.
you're a
Yeah,
Sid
I was
guy.
Yeah, Sid guy, big Sid guy.
Well, you said you're a pass first mentality, right? And like he was similar when he came in, but you have that awesome story of when Talbot came in.
Well, Talbot shriveled me. Max Talbot, I told him, I go, Sid will never score 50. He's a straight stick, wooden blade with a Sherwood. I was like, and then, of course, Talbot told him, and then he got like 54 next year. So.
Well, didn't he bet you $10K? You're like,
yeah, I never
way.
paid him.
Oh, okay.
Never paid him.
That's good.
But he would have scored more that other time, except for he got like concussion, right? He was like 26 goals in 26 games. He was on fire.
Yeah.
Good guy to pick.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Oh, he is unbelievable.
Have you guys battled against each other in international?
No.
Oh, so last year he was on the Swedish team at U18s, but he didn't play in the exhibition game, and then in the gold medal game he was hurt. So that would have been the only time we would have crossed paths.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, no.
Oh, that's all right.
You got one, all right?
The option. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm all
Exhibition
set.
games.
Ryan, you got the OT game winner in the under set 18 there. Like, with a little Ned Braden cell, you just start ditching all the equipment right there.
Didn't know what to do. You think about that moment your whole life, and then the puck goes across the line. You're like, what just happened? So, yeah, kind of just threw everything as high as I could and kind of jumped in the glass.
Guess that was your biggest tuck up to this point so far, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Do you like, both you guys, how now internationals 3-on-3 in overtime of the elimination games? I think it's kind of brutal in like a gold medal game, 3-on-3.
I don't know, really, to be honest. I mean, I think it should be 5-on-5.
Yeah.
I mean, at least.
Yeah,
at
like finish it the real way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Yeah. I mean, it's more fun to play 3-on-3 for sure. But it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Who's been the most influential person in your life or your career? Like, who have you leaned on the most coming up and gotten the most advice from?
Yeah, my father. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he coached me since I was like 6 until 14, so it's kind of easy choice there. But yeah, it was hard on me on the rink, but then it was a dad back home, so that was perfect.
He played a little pro, your dad, didn't he, in Sweden?
I don't know, pro, but he played like
men's league.
He played in
the old man.
No, he played in the second division in Sweden for a couple of years, and then played 1 year in some league that's no longer existing, like FPA in Texas, like FPA Western.
Oh, they got paid in
Western Pro.
Western Pro.
Yeah, Western Pro.
That was a great tech back then.
Texas?
Great city.
You got paid in ribeyes.
Yeah, it's like no, it's Texas.
Invisible league, he fought.
Yeah, he fought a lot.
Oh, really?
I mean, he didn't fight. He was kind of a coward, but he was. He tried to be hard, but yeah.
So he would stir it up, and then they would come and eat turtle.
No, but he fought, but he was more like a wrestler.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
Just like
He's like a grappler.
Yeah, that's all the boys care
No,
about.
yeah.
Is he big like you? Is he big like you too? Big guy?
Yeah, I'm just like 6'2", something.
Yeah.
6'2", like 187 or something.
So that's why he said, "Hey, don't be a wrestler, don't be a fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Work on your game, kid."
Yeah, it's like kind of.
Attaboy.
Well, I guess both you guys. So like, I guess like second, third, or fourth for you, Leo. I mean, you're hearing what, like 6th to 10th, kind of like. What do you?
Hopefully the Coyotes snag you. We need a little.
Oh,
bit of
I pray to God
What
that
do you
doesn't
mean?
happen to you.
Shut the fuck up.
You get to play in front of 3,000
Already
people.
committed to BC, busy.
Yeah, he'll get to go to BC and then he'll get to go to ASU.
Plays in front of more at BC.
He transfers to ASU.
There you go.
But how are you approaching tomorrow night? Just kind of like try to stay patient, or like, do you have a team in mind that you're like, I think I had a good interview with them. That could be my spot.
Yeah, I think I kind of built a pretty good relationship with like all those teams like in the range, but then again, it's like draft day, anything could really happen.
You never know.
Yeah, But yeah, probably a little bit of nerves once you really get in that seat and kind of, the moment kind of comes. But yeah, it'll be probably a little bit nerve-wracking though, that's for sure.
I remember having a great interview with Pittsburgh, and we did this like funny little gambling thing with my whole family where we get like who thought where I would go. I picked Pittsburgh, and I ended up winning the pool. Was there a team that you had like a really strong interview with where you're like, yeah, I think I'm almost like, hopefully they pick me. You're hoping so?
Not really. Honestly, they're kind of pretty easy going and kind of all we're pretty easy to like talk to. And like I said, nobody in the combine really ripped you, so pretty easy. And yeah, don't really.
Did you guys have a ton of interviews too?
They kind of limit it
later than you guys, but I did like everyone. But I think everyone's like trading around. Like, we're hearing all these rumors about trading up.
I don't know how many you had at the combine, but I didn't interview with. I think I interviewed with just a little bit over half. Yeah.
I had 11 meetings.
11.
How many pull-ups did you do?
I did 10.
I didn't do the test.
You didn't do any of it?
I'm going to take the option.
What a kind of guy takes the option.
My kind of guy.
I didn't do it.
Including flying down here.
I wish my agent told me to take the option on the combine. I wouldn't have embarrassed myself up there.
I threw up. And that was when we had the loose-fitting tank tops, and I was so skinny it kept falling off my shoulder. Like, I kept having to pull it up all the time.
Like a brassiere?
They're like, why is a trainer's kid working out?
As we're talking about the draft and stuff, do you guys have a buddy of yours, or just somebody you played against that's kind of off the radar that maybe we'll see in the later first round or second round that you're like, this guy's actually really good, but he's not getting any?
Yeah, I have my friend back home called Milton Oskarsson. In the center with me. He centered my line in playoffs against the Skellefteå. I didn't know if you watched him, but yeah,
we were on Skellefteå the whole series. So sorry.
Yeah,
money talks. I know you're a good guy. We got to win money.
That's true. I think he's going. He's going late. I think, but he's a good player. He's big. Like what is it, like 6'6" or something? So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So he's a unit out there.
What about you mentioned, is it Gabe Perreault?
Yep.
Yeah, so like he broke a record this year, didn't he?
Yeah, all-time points in 1 year.
So he's still, is he going to be like top 15? Like, do you know what they're saying for him?
I don't know, Gabe. I don't really know with like where Gabe's gonna end up, but he's so smart out there. Like,
really
ridiculous. Yeah.
So just hockey IQ.
Yeah, it's off.
I mean, the guys who've played there to break the all-time point record.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
I think because then Will took Will's now second for the single season. It's Gabe and then him and then I think Jack Hughes and then
Did you play against Will Smith growing up in Massachusetts?
Not. We played in like our different leagues during the year, and then in the summers we would play on like the Blue Chips or the Boston Junior Bruins for like the summer tournaments.
Did you play other sports growing up, or was it kind of all hockey?
Yeah, pretty much everything but football. My mom said no football.
Really?
Yeah,
I went to one practice for football.
So did I.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Did you lax?
I had a buddy break his ankle.
I played lacrosse. Yep.
Little lacrosse. Hey,
yeah.
I love that sport.
I like baseball more though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, baseball's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Leo? A lot of soccer? Or?
Yeah, I played the Swedish sports, soccer and floorball, basically.
What is floorball?
I mean, it's like
floor hockey with like these sick little sticks.
Yeah, it's kind of hockey without ice, basically, and with the ball, kind of.
They use those weird dangle sticks.
Think about your gym class in high school when you played floor
the
hockey.
curved ones.
Yeah, you can curve them. It's like with a little wiffle ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The goalie doesn't even have a stick. He just like plays on his knee. So it's kind of like knee hockey with your kid at the same time.
Dude, they show these sports
you think it
on
actually
TV
helped
there.
your
They're like
mitts?
real sports.
I don't know. I played it for like a year.
That's it, eh?
So yeah, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
Now, do you hope to play in the NHL next year? Would you be open to staying in? Like, how are you going to approach it? I guess you don't know until you get drafted, but in your mind, you're like, I want to be in the NHL next season.
Tough question. I mean, I think I can, but it's just if I'm ready, to be honest. I mean, I think a good option would be to go home again.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I can't do it. So it's kind of we haven't really decided yet.
One more year. Come to Timrah. I'll talk to the guys.
Against Timrah. Yeah, against Timrah.
You can live in my upstairs room. I got a new kid coming. You can watch her during the day.
Yeah, my best friend Forsmark is there. Simon Forsmark.
Here we go. Timrah. We're going to get him here. We're going to get him back.
I was going to say,
this is collusion.
He should come over and test out the dub a little bit, eh? Get a little work in the dub.
Oh, no.
You know, travel, ride the bus a bit, you know?
No, thank
Red
you.
Deer?
He'd be an overage by this point.
No. You get 1 year in him, then go right to the show. Get used to the schedule, like bang around.
Yeah, right. Lenny, who was the first of all those guys at national program to commit to BC?
Me, Drew Fortescue, and Aaron Manetian.
So then you had to get on Will Smith. That's when the selling really started.
So Will, I don't know if you know, but basically everybody in his whole entire family has gone there, and for some reason he committed to Northeastern at the start.
Shit.
Yeah. And then he decommitted around, I don't know, last Christmas maybe, and then committed to BC, and then Gabe. And then Will Vogt was also committed like a couple weeks after me, and then Gabe was committed this year.
They'll all be in the portal after this year anyway. Where are we going next year?
Yeah. so with all that, like, have you gotten sponsorship dollars yet? Like, because I mean,
yeah, there's like a couple of NIL deals, but yeah, just trying to.
It's probably slim pickings for
You're like,
hockey
Cater,
players.
come on, buddy. I want to sign with like Goodyear Tire. Give me something.
Get a little Dunkin' Donuts. You and Pasta in a commercial
nice.
together.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, good
Dunkin'
smile. Your
Donuts.
nose isn't on your cheek yet. Like, hit it when it's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's hot, baby. You look like Busy Boy.
Yeah, in no time. We always ask guys about their college visits. Like, did you go there? Did the boys take you around and maybe get you a little bit gooned up in order to convince you?
I didn't take our the official visit. We tried to every single weekend this year when like our schedule freed up, but nothing worked out with going on official. Like, we all wanted to go with 6 guys on our team, and I don't know if our like Coach Muse like kind of just said no to that. Like, can't just have half our like a quarter of our team leave.
Yeah,
and kind of just be empty. So
wait, so your coach was it Dan Muse?
Yeah.
So he just took the assistant job at the Rangers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a local guy as well, right?
Yeah,
Canton. So
Yep.
so what was he like this year for you guys? I mean, is he hard nosed? Did he kind of let you guys play with how much skill you had? How was it with him?
A little bit of both. He kind of had a really good mix of it. When things weren't really going, he kind of let you know. But he also lets you play and kind of lets like your style kind of kick in.
And when Leo said that his dad was so important to his development, like, do you look at your brother? I mean, he's older, played in the NHL. You always looked up to him.
Yeah, John's kind of been like my mentor and kind of like always been there for me. Like, obviously picks on me and beats me up like as a young kid and kind of sticks me in the net when I was a kid and firing tennis balls at your face. But but now, yeah, he's awesome.
That's great.
You said right when you hit the campus at BC, you just knew right away.
Yeah, that place is special. Yeah, it just kind of felt like home.
Now, Leo, did you get to watch Did you get to watch a lot of the playoffs over in Sweden this year?
What do you mean?
Like NHL playoffs.
NHL. Right. Everybody's not a psycho like me and stays up. The games come on at 1 in the morning. This guy's like eating smoothies and actually sleeping.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I watched the highlights the morning after on YouTube. So that's basically it.
Did you have a favorite team, NHL team growing up, or just root for the Swedes?
I had Pittsburgh Penguins when I grew up.
Okay.
I did.
The Generation X?
Yeah.
That was when all these guys were on the flyer.
The Generation shit.
And that's why they were picking first overall for Marc-Andre Fleury.
You're welcome,
That's when things
Pittsburgh.
then they started shifting out, the other guys started shifting in, and then things went up for them.
So Merle says complete player, all-around player.
Yeah, everything. Can do it all. Look at the size of them. Durable.
What do we got
Saw the
with him?
playoffs this
Lenny.
year. Big guys win. This guy, I don't know.
I'm looking at Lenny's
look at him.
paws. Look at his fucking hands.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at him, and I see a Matthew Tkachuk. Like, he almost looks like him.
Yeah,
and
he
his
kinda
style
does.
of play on the scouting reports. Those are the players you need. You saw it. New Jersey Devils need
They're
guys
far and
like
few
that.
between now.
A lot of teams need that grit and that stuff. So, NHL, you listening? Well,
Did you
I guess
lead
will they hear
the
this
team in
before
penalty
this?
minutes this year?
No, not me.
Really?
Talk to Brady Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Brady's getting shriveled. He was the guy taking the minors.
Yeah, Cleve's a big boy.
When you guys play USHL, were you guys fighting?
Brady took his helmet off and beat the piss out of somebody.
Oh,
in Green Bay, yeah, it's a wild story. It was 1-1 hockey game, and he decided he was gonna go somebody that night. Middle of the second period, and we might have been. No, we weren't killing a penalty yet, but yeah, it was a 1-1 hockey game, and this kid pissed him off and threw his helmet off and just kind of jumped the guy. And
Dummied him?
The guy had no chance. Yeah,
Where's he going to school?
Wisco.
Okay. All right. Anything else? You guys got anything else for these guys?
Leo, you have any like Swedish friends in the NHL that might have reached out to you, give you a little advice in the whole process?
I mean, I worked out with just Brad last week, I think, and he just gave me some tips and stuff, but nothing more than that, I think. I mean, I play with someone in the World Championship, with Raymond and Sandin and those guys, but Not so much actually.
Was that the hardest level of competition you've ever played at the World Championship?
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm against Finland and USA. It was some tough games.
Yeah. No, because you're basically playing against men over there in the league that you're in, but then obviously that's a better crop of guys.
Yeah.
And the level of play. How do you feel like you competed at that level?
I think it was good. I mean, when we play against the Ranton, it was impossible. I mean, I couldn't get the puck from him. It was.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
I mean, it was
player.
like. It seems like he was like 6'6" to 40, but
yeah.
I mean, that was hard.
Coming off
He
a
reminds
huge
me
year
of
too.
like Malkin at Malkin's heyday. That's kind of what I think.
Just a big guy.
Skilled,
can
great
do it all.
shot. But that's cool that you get to play. Were you surprised to make that team, or was that like were you knowing throughout the year I'll make the men's world championship?
I mean, I knew after the playoffs they was gonna go to the like pre-tournament game. Yeah, because we had like 8 pre-tournament game, and that was pretty good against. I mean, in those games. So then after the Swiss game, I think we had. Then I thought, yeah, sure. I mean,
nice.
You didn't take the option on those ones.
No,
Just
no.
under 18. Like, get out of here, pigeons.
Don't go
with
to
the big
Riga.
boys.
Well, guys, I mean, we appreciate it. It's a special weekend. We've all been there, and you kind of look back, and it goes by so quick. So take it all in, and good luck with everything.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, boys. Good luck.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Before we go any further, here's a word from our friends at Bolero. Bolero is the world's largest owner and operator of bowling centers with over 325 locations throughout the United States, currently located in 34 states. Bolero is known for reinventing one of America's oldest pastimes into a new and unforgettable experience with modern and beautifully designed venues, expansive arcades, premium signature cocktails, and a creative menu. Now we're here to introduce the Barstool Bolero Invitational, this summer's most anticipated event. Joining the Invitational is easy. Simply enter your name and visit any Bolero near you and bowl for your chance to be entered to win one of our ultimate prizes, including limited edition Barstool bowling gear, an event at any Bolero, and the ultimate grand prize, which includes tickets to the Super Bowl and NBA Finals, plus a trip to the Barstool Bolero Invitational Finale in Chicago on August 9th. The fun doesn't stop here. Enjoy a guaranteed spot on the lanes when you reserve a lane or book an event at Bolero near you. Visit Bolero.com using the promo code Barstool for 15% off your next lane reservation. This offer is only valid through August 31st. Visit www.bolero.com/Barstool to learn more about the Barstool Bolero Invitational starting July 12th. Participation is open until July 23rd. No skill is required. All participants have an equal chance of winning. To find a participating center near you, visit www.bolero.com/Barstool, and that's BOWLERO, bolero.com/Barstool. Huge thanks to Leo and Ryan for coming on with us, man. We wish them guys the best future. They should be doing all right with those draft picks. But said earlier, he's going to be the first guy to wear that Ducks jersey that Biz didn't like too much. Pat Verbeek making some big moves, though. How about that? He brings in Radko Gudas, we just said 3-year, $12 million deal. And you want to talk about this one, Biz. The jet ski legend, 2-time Cup champ, Alex Killorn, comes at Anaheim's highest paid forward, 4-year, $25 million deal. Says bye to Tampa. He was pretty beat up about it. Played there 11 years. But you think this is the best deal of the draft? Free agency so far, Biz?
I think that Killorn benefited the most from his experience in his Stanley Cup wins. And, for Verbeek, you have all these young guys and these assets. They need to learn off somebody how to carry themselves, how to, you're chucking weights after the game, like team camaraderie. And I just think Killorn's A-class human being. I think he works his bag off. It's proven that he's in playoff time, willing to play through anything. Fuck, didn't he take warm up with a broken fibula? They just put a goddamn rod in. So he just brings everything in for a team that has to get to the floor. And probably won't be spending that much money. Why not go give it to a wily veteran who's experienced like that, where I think we can all agree there's some better players who got less term and less money than Alex Killorn did. Like look at what Tyler Bertuzzi signed for, right?
So look at Tarasenko can't get a deal.
Can't get a deal,
right? Now doesn't have a deal.
I think that when you're a good guy, I think that sometimes good things happen to you, especially come money and Army, I think you said it earlier. Like, I love when the guys get paid. Mm-hmm. I absolutely fucking love when guys like Alex Killorn get paid. So,
I think Killorn's probably made over $65 million now.
Yeah.
and well deserved.
Yeah, and this was this free agency, right? It's either you're Bertuzzi, you go to a contender, and you're gonna do a 1-year thing, or you're gonna try to make it work on something like that, or because the money was tight and some of these teams that aren't as good, that are young and half their team or almost all their team are on entry-level contracts and they have to spend money, you go to a team like that and you're rewarded with a bigger contract or they can pay you a little more, which Gudas and Killorn were happy to do and be veteran guys in that room and help these guys along and play significant, important roles in that dressing room and around these teams.
And another instance of like Killorn having cups, being willing to maybe go to a team who's going to struggle for a little bit, knowing like I've already won, I'm going to get as much money as I can. And by the way, Anaheim I think could be pretty good pretty quick.
Right.
It's not like they'll
so
be
it's good.
horrible
Yeah,
for
it's
a
good for
long time.
Killorn because in years 3 and 4, it's like, oh, well, maybe we're a playoff team all of a sudden, and these young guys really pop, and I'm lifting another Stanley Cup. So as far as trending in the right direction, what a great signing for him and his family.
Just they won't have a goalie, but time will tell on that.
Nice segue there, Army. John Gibson, he's been getting under barrage the last couple of seasons, just getting pummeled every other game. He's got 4 years left at $6.4 million. Now, Frankie Saravalli, good friend of ours on the show, he come out, said that he said, I'm not playing for this team anymore. The agency come out with a statement, which is kind of a rare thing, like saying, no, Frankie's full of shit, basically. He come over the top with receipts. I love these like agent fucking journalist fights.
I love it.
Yeah, so what did he say?
Move over, Alan Walsh. There's a new agent in town.
So I think it's Kurt Overhart. Is that his name?
I
KO Sports. Is that what it is?
It was the statement from the agency, but
So like he had called him out before, and then Frank proved that like whatever he reported was 100% true. So he stuck by this one, and what he said was that Gibson came out and said, "I will not play another game for the Ducks." So Saravalli said, "Hey, you challenged me once. I made you look like a fool. If you're trying to challenge me again, I'm sticking to my guns."
Which
now
is
we gotta see what
bizarre.
happens.
Because then fucking Gibson goes on Cam and Strick and listen, he said it in a way more diplomatic way where it's like he basically wants out of Anaheim. So what the fuck is this guy doing? What's his agent doing?
Well, the player could have said, "I get that. I don't want that out there." I don't know. I'm just guessing, right? Like,
Is Overhart just mad at the quote of him saying that he refuses to play one more game for the Anaheim Ducks franchise? Is that what's being argued here?
My argument it's a move that it's strong-arming Anaheim to go, this guy wants out no matter what, so it kind of puts you in a negotiating spot of, well, what are you going to do? Like, we know he doesn't want to be there. Like, you're going to
we're not giving you any more than we've offered.
Yeah. They say, oh, he didn't.
In terms of an agent saying that, like, why would an agent even care if the player isn't like, hey, fucking take care of this? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that would piss the agent off. It would be the agent responding to the player like, hey, I didn't say that, or that's not supposed to be there, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think it was either Merles or Army just saying that the reason as an agent I'd be pissed off if that quote gets out is all of a sudden it maybe makes it harder for your client to move somewhere. So that's why he was trying to put fires on it. But RA, what were you about to say? The exact same thing?
Well, they said he never said that quote or those words, but like that doesn't mean he didn't say it in different words, but the same point. You know what I mean? They were emphasizing the words of what was actually said. But he probably said the same thing, just in a different way. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
House bugged.
If it's like if they didn't say nothing, it wouldn't even be a fucking story.
Playing another game for this back end.
Trade me right
which is weird because
hang up the phone.
Which is weird though, because we were just talking about this team all of a sudden like gathering some good assets and they're going to start trending in the right direction, and then now you want off the ship. Yeah. It's like you've just fucking went through all this dog shit for 2-3 years, and now you want off the ship. So I guess a bizarre time. Maybe he's sick of the state tax and people shitting on his sidewalk outside. I don't know.
I go to Florida and I get the money.
RA, you're sick of the dog poop outside of your front door. Maybe he's sick of the human shit outside.
That's actually RA's shit. He forgot that he took it though, stumbling home.
Took it Monday night when he got home from Nashville.
What other big things have we not talked about?
The Penguins.
The Penguin.
Kyle Dubas throwing out the penguin emoji. Ooh.
No, he just texted Army, start fucking talking about us right now.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about, Army?
Well,
Get his fucking dick out of your mouth.
Well,
They're reloading.
They did some good stuff. I think they got Smith, a massive trade. I really like him if he's going to come in and replace Zucker had a great year last year, but Smith's 200-foot game kills penalties, plays with good players, can keep pace up and down. He gets to hard areas.
Swiss Army knife.
I love that pickup. I think you guys would all agree with me. He's really good.
I was very surprised to see it. I mean, obviously Vegas has all these cap issues, but I said, pretty good move for Dubas. Pretty good first move there.
He might be the best winger Sid ever got to play with.
Yeah, if he plays with him, I mean, they got.
I'd rather him than Zucker. Army Zucker, very kind of like hot and cold, can get hot. Zucker always has good years when his deal's coming up, which is an amazing talent to have. But like in terms of defensively and like the cup and like Riley Smith, I think he fits in great there.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, Merles, your tone was saying maybe like Kunitz 2.0 here?
Yeah, exactly. A lot like that. I was just trying to get under Army's skin a little bit, but I think he missed it.
I like him as a player. He's my kind of player, this Riley Smith. I like the way he plays. He can kind of bounce around everywhere. He plays the game the right way. He's a hard guy to play against. He can keep pace. He can score. He can get put in different situations, penalty kill, put him in front on the PP.
Bro,
I don't know.
Just say Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife. I should have said Swiss Army knife.
He's the one that's got all the things. Like it's got 20 things.
He's got that little scissors, the little scissors that you just barely have to clip like that. It's got a spring
I called
in there.
myself a Swiss Army knife. I had the knife and then like just the pair of scissors.
There's not a chicken dick chance
the nail file. That's it.
Yeah, he's got the thing that'll file your income tax. This will clip your toenails. This will pluck your eyebrows.
Army, I feel like you might have been in the room.
Fremundo cheese out of your foreskin.
Army, what are you hearing in the 412 about EK65 possibly?
I know those are swirling.
Dubas is he wants EK65. He wants to make some noise.
Yeah, he wants to put his
how would they ever do that?
I don't know how they would do it. I don't know.
Army's gone.
I don't know. They might, Me for EK65 now. I'm down there in San Jose. Me and Drew Remenda are just holding it down.
He's like, wait, what? He doesn't play
Can you imagine
anymore.
if he pulls that off too? I mean, he gets Jari done. He gets
that. Okay, Army, that deal is bizarro world to me.
Why?
That was the one. 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
Can't even fucking, he's never stayed healthy 1 year.
Yeah, I agree. The best ability is availability, boys. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
And he hasn't shone in moments that he could have and had seasons together, but he has been an all-star a couple times.
But when he's healthy, he's pretty good.
He's
right?
really good.
Excellent.
He's really good.
Okay.
And who else are you going to get too at this point? They brought in Nedeljkovic. They signed him as like a little extra flavor in there with DeSmith and Jari.
I heard he tried to bring Murray back. Murray and Campbell.
He tried to. What is that? Is that the Sioux connection for you right there, Busy?
Yeah.
Is that the Sioux connection? So yeah, and he did a good job.
They call it the Sioux and soup.
It's also like look at the Sioux and soup. It's the reason why Dubas also when he got fired and let go that they came and got him because he was the best available GM and they wanted to get him. He was their guy. Same with Jari. Who else are you going to get if you don't get Jari? And he's been he's had moments where he's been injured and hasn't been that good. But when he's been good, he's been really fucking good. So, I know a lot of people, even in Pittsburgh here, are like, 6 years, that's a lot. Or 5 years, that's a long time. What the hell? Like, what has he proven? But I mean, he's a pretty good goalie. If he can stay healthy, I think that'll add to it. But Eller, Achari, Nieto, Graves.
Pittsburgh fans are the most fickle with their goaltenders.
Yeah.
Oh, the conversation on
unless it's Fleury.
They were trying to trade Fleury for 10 years. Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, they either loved Fleury and then there was half that loved Murray and then it was back and forth. And
I mean, there's Pittsburgh fans who hate Malkin. It's like not exactly like smart to maybe call out Malkin.
I think he upgraded the bottom six, though, boys. Bottom line, I think the Riley Smith trade was huge and they got their goalie done, which was who else was out there. And I think, Jari's a good goaltender and sprinkled
and
the
Lars
Delkovich
Eller
on
Army. Like, I actually think like when Washington won the cup, do you guys remember how good Eller was? Now, granted, that was like 5 years ago now, but last year he was horrible biz. Remember at one point we were talking about how he had like 1 point in 30 games, I think it was. So it was like a run of just horrid hockey. But if he slides in there, third line, kind of finds the game again, he can be a monster. So that's like a wait and see, but kind of big time upside on that.
Okay, if they miss playoffs this year, do you put that more on the last regime or more on Dubas?
Last regime.
Wow. Okay, so you think he gets
they
a
still have
full
the
year
Carter
buddy
deal.
pass?
Well, the funny thing is, so Dubas, like they're gonna hire a GM, but they haven't. But like he's smart enough to be like, I want to be president because then in 3 years, if this thing actually all went to hell, I'll fire whoever I hire as a GM and I'll remain here as president. Like president is the job you want. I mean, you could see RA coming out of a fucking elevator and shit on his basketball skills if you're a president like Shanny. I mean, the president, those guys are laughing. It's the GMs who get thrown to the curb.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's look at some of those teams, right? Let's look at even the Metro. Like, who's the top 3 to finish in this division now? And like, where are the Pens
so Carolina's going to win
realistically going to be?
I think Carolina wins it again because I actually think Carolina's even better than last year. Jersey's going to be right there, 1-2, and then you look at like Rangers. Penguins, kind of question marks in terms of what's going to happen. I think the Islanders are going to be fucking horrible. They signed Mayfield to 7 years.
I feel like Lou's just given up. I saw Lou outside of Blanco in Nashville, and he was leaning up on the building. He was like that lady in that meme who's keeled over, like when she's just been working a 14-hour shift.
Lou was with RA that last night.
He is completely given up. It's fucking. He is on tilt. Lou is on tilt right now. No, dude.
So basically, with
Engvall got a 7-year deal.
Yeah. Yep. I got news for Islanders fans. At least you can go out and buy that Engvall jersey. And,
they just give Butch Goring a 5x5. Lou is on tilt, man. He's in his mankini, sipping on Bellinis in the south of France again after the Nashville trip, and he is checked the fuck out.
He's done.
The Islanders are going to get relegated after this season. That's how bad they're going to be.
Biz, word is Lou even pours enormous bags of pretzels into Ziploc bags.
Oh, not the fucking. Not the goldfish.
Goldfish, baby.
Can we talk about this stupid goldfish argument that we had with RA in the Uber ride on the way home from the golf course?
Well, it all starts with the fact that RA very, like, I guess it's the thought that counts, RA, and RA knows I love King.
Not with you.
It's wine. And RA at the end of the sandbag is like, so on like the 7th, I was like, the biggest surprise for you, win or lose after. I was like, what? All right, cool. We get in the car. He's like, I almost forgot. And he whips out a body armor bottle.
A water one, just to clarify.
Body armor water bottle that is filled with Camus. Dude, hey, it was 110. I'm not kidding. It was the hottest day in Tennessee of the year.
I was letting it breathe.
And it'd been in his backpack all day. He's like, drink it. I was like, no. He's like, you fucking spoiled prick. You fucking think you're better than me. I'm like, all right, it's fucking 110 degrees. The Camus is in body armor bottle, and it's fucking, I don't want your wine right now. And
he got it from some random guy on the street, too.
Some random dude.
So you know what RA did, Army? He fucking chunked the whole bottle of wine, dude.
I mean, I try to do something nice for once for wit.
Put a glass of water in a microwave for 2 minutes, and that's how warm this wine is.
It's red wine. It wasn't like it was fucking Chardonnay. Red wine's supposed to be whatever the temperature is.
Listen.
Room temperature, it was 100 degrees.
Right, so you drink it at that.
This is like a high school move.
So,
this is a high school move.
No one lives in a fucking sauna, RA. It's not room temperature.
I was walking back to the room Thursday when we ended up having that interview canceled. I was going back for a nap, and this guy we met in St. Louis, he's like, oh, what's up, RA? He was going to the airport, and he had however much was left in the canvas. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm going back to the room. I knew that we met the guy before. He's a hot shit. He's from Boston area. So I'm like, I'll take it back to the room, and, if I have a drink later, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up crashing, didn't need it. I'm like, oh, what loves canvas? I'm like, I don't go to fucking golf course at all. I don't know if you could just pull a bottle of wine out, whatever. So I have the empty body armor water bottle. Pour it in that because it's not like there's anything in there. But fuck it, man.
It was his piss bottle beside the bed first. He rinsed it out, though, Whit.
Yeah, Whit. No, don't worry. It's a little extra salt in there. It's a new brand.
It's like blood.
Yeah.
You don't even know what it was.
Yeah, it helps with the oxidization of it. Really brings out the
Yeah.
Talons, is that a word?
Trying to do something nice either way,
Tannins.
but
Well,
Cannons,
back
yeah,
to the
so.
Metro.
yeah, back to the
So
Metro.
Carolina,
NIT.
Jersey,
electric,
wagons.
Ooh, that
Pittsburgh,
wine's a good wine.
Rangers.
No, we're not fucking done. Are you didn't mention the goldfish thing.
Oh yeah, fuck. So RA has a fucking giant, like I'm talking, like, it was like a 3-pound bag of goldfish.
It was a
in the Ziploc.
garbage bag sized
I
Ziploc
said,
bag.
RA, why don't you just keep the goldfish in the goldfish container? And he starts yapping in my face, spitting all over me.
Spitting orange
That
chunks
security-
all over it.
That
Chip tooth don't
security
help.
at the airport is going to take your goldfish if they're not in a Ziploc bag. I'm like, all right, they're not going to do that. There's not a knife in the gold. If there's not a weapon in the goldfish, they're getting through security in the goldfish bag. And you couldn't give me a reason. Finally, I said, all right, is it because maybe you don't want to not have to eat all the goldfish at that time and then you can't shut the goldfish container, so you put it in a Ziploc bag to stay fresh? And Biz is like, oh, maybe
14
maybe that's
pounds
it. And Ari goes, no, I thought I fucking security.
Do you want me to show you? Do you want me to show you the box that comes in? It's fucking huge.
They're huge.
It's like
They do make smaller bags, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
just buy
buying
a
for my
couple
kid
small
every
ones.
day.
They
Oh,
make the singles.
I don't
like,
want.
just get
What
eat
the
a
fuck's wrong with
fucking
putting it in a Ziploc and put it in your fucking travel bag? I'm a travel veteran guy. Some things they might not
Do
look
they crush?
aesthetically
Are they-
pleasing to fucking Whitney, but
Is it
fucking,
shake and bake, RA, by the end of the trip?
It's a standard Ziploc fucking big bag.
Yeah,
like
I
the
know. So
quart-size
your
one, like you put a
goldfish
pound of
are in
grass
there
or
and they're
something.
getting crushed.
Yeah.
They're getting crumbled.
Buddy,
They come in a
broken,
cardboard container.
one piece,
Like
2-piece. It's all goldfish.
This was a
whether
top
broken or
5
not.
Chiclets argument of all time. I think I filmed the whole thing, so it's going to be on the vlog
Gonna
that we
need
drop
closed
next
captioning,
week.
I'll tell you
Oh
that.
my god, you were so
Definitely.
drunk.
Oh,
He's like, you fucking prick. I fucking bring you.
So-
oh, no, but this is the best part. I bring you Yamis. I'm like, what the fuck is Yamis? He's like, whatever the wine you like is.
If I was the Uber driver, I would have barrel rolled out of the car with it still moving. He wanted to.
Should have just let me sleep. Shouldn't
would
woke me
you
up.
rather eat goldfish out of the box it comes in, like that milk jug box, or would you feel grosser sticking your hands in a RA's Ziploc bag that he prepared himself?
Dude, I would
Option
rather
B,
eat
buddy.
the goldfish out of the sewer than reach into this fucking Ziploc bag that he's been
Army,
holding
it
all
was
day.
the same Ziploc bag he had in Florida on the way to the autograph signing.
There was
Just
pretzel
reused.
piece.
It's
Dude,
like-
it was a Ziploc bag. I'm not kidding you. There was pretzel crumbs, a million goldfish, a couple shrooms at the bottom, and some weed.
There was some,
Imagine
there was
does
some
the
belly
Brothers
button
Grimm.
lint in there too.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Whit, you want some of these goldfish?
and
Don't
some
mind the
Lou
stems.
pubes.
So I
Some
was-
of Lou's pubes were in there from the night before when they were hanging out.
I was like, all right, wait, you want to fuck with me? So I called my friends at TSA. I'm like, yep, you can get him this time out. Take care of him.
Yeah.
Oh
holy
yeah,
shit.
what happened here? Okay, so RA always talks about TSA because he doesn't know why he gets stopped in line because he's basically having a seizure holding his 14-pound bag of goldfish along with his crack pipe and his 14 bags of
Crack
edibles
pretzels.
with a sign on his forehead that says, I'm a fucking crackhead, frisk me down.
I'm a dealer and a consumer.
Yeah,
I'm not only the president,
I'm Johnny
I'm also
Depp
a
and
client.
Blow. I got 2 briefcase here. But he talks about constantly getting frisked, and Whit, you always kind of shrug it off. And unfortunately, you had your own incident. You turned into RA on the way home from Nashville.
Yeah, and so I told you, like, that was the day we had, I think there was 9 birdies, and we did a shot for a net birdie by Biekska. So, like, 100 degrees, 10 shots, at least 10
Drunkest I've ever been on a golf
Labatt's.
course.
Like, we were wrecked. So I get to the airport, but I was fine, like, walking through. I had sunglasses on, but I mean, I was, like, mangled. And I go through, and now, RA, you've many times talked about this. I've never experienced it, so I didn't really get where you were coming from. And I was so happy that somebody sent me a tweet. I think I retweeted. Like, somebody was like, I just watched you get like, R-worded by the fucking security guy. So I walked through. So they made me stand in the one where you go like this. You know, you put your arms up and it swivels in front. And I walked through and like I look back at like your body scan image and there's just like all red around my package. I'm like, dude, I have nothing on me. I was like, oh, actually, he's like, try
Heaviest
the
sack
belt.
in the league.
Take the belt off. So I take the belt off. I go back through, same all red around my package. He sends me back in again. At this point, I'm like, dude, I'm like opening.
It's
my
all that
pants,
duck
kinda.
butter in there.
I'm like, I don't have anything
heaviest
on
sack
me,
in the
dude.
world is in there.
Yeah, I'm like, my head is my entire hog. Like, what do you want me to say? So he's like, all right, I got to pat you down. Do you want to go in a private room? I'm like, why would I need to go in a private room? By the way, this is it. Why would I need to go in a private room? And he's like, all right, dude, RA, that is fucking nuts.
Is it?
Dude, he's like, I'll use the back of my hand. He rubbed my hog. Dude, I came. I'm just
Hey,
kidding.
you
I
look
didn't
down.
come.
Hey, you look
I
down. He's like, oh.
He goes back of his hand, up and down my hog. Up, down, up, down. He then, with the back of his hand, moves my beanbag over. He's in my grundle and upper groin area. Up, down, up, down. I was like this. Holy shit. That's what I was saying. It's like, holy shit. He goes, you didn't want to go in the private room. I was like, oh my God. He moves my beanbag over the other way. Up, down, has me turn around. Dude, gives me the credit card up the back of my asshole all the way to the top of my back. I was like, oh! And in my head, I'm like, RA does this every time?
Oh, yeah. No wonder he shows up
I
acting
was
like
like,
he's
could you at
fucked
least
up.
have a female do it for me, please? He's like, that's not allowed, sir.
He's like-
I go, I couldn't believe it, RA. It's crazy.
RA's trying to save $100. The TSA is the new rub and tug ever since Robert
He was like
Kraft got him all
practicing,
busted in
like
mass.
he's opening up a rub and tug, this guy.
It's like, Mr. Whitney, please bend over and cough. And a bunch of goldfish come out of his asshole. He's trying to smuggle the plane.
Like, RA is so proud that this has happened, but it just like that's what it looked like after 5 days in Nashville. That's like, so is that how you always look? RA
That's what
there?
happened.
Yeah.
He's like, he sees his victims.
Well,
He just goes right up. He's like, private room, please.
Dude, he credit card swiped my cornhole. I was like, oh my God.
That's unreal.
I like, if I didn't have like, I had jeans on too. I'm like, imagine wearing like sweatpants with no
Do you think it
undies
was
on
because
this?
all the sweat and shit from
yeah.
Nashville? That's
Actually,
what sets it off, right?
got
RA
a
gets the
DM.
private room. He
No
opens the door
shit.
with just
It was how-
some TSA agent on the metal table.
G?
Colby, I got a DM from a TSA agent, and he said that the reason
I
RA
fucked
is
with.
always getting picked out is because he said he must have really sweaty balls. That liquid is one of the things that can set off the detector or whatever. So he's like, if you have sweaty balls, like that's what's gonna make.
That's
us
why
have
he
to
was.
search you.
That's
why he
RA
was
for
swiping your
sure.
credit card.
He's getting. RA's got his fucking. Hey, RA's gonna put another towel in his crotch area
Down to
now.
my
He's
fucking
gonna be
ankles
just-
at this point, anyways.
He's gonna be the
Hey, I
Gatorade
go into
towel's gonna
the
be
TSA
fondling
room.
his
It's
ball
RA.
sack.
RA spinning a basketball in his hand, munching on old pretzels. He's like, your time's now.
What's up,
bitch."
Where were we, boys? Holy
Oh,
shit!
fucking Planet Zoo.
Oh,
on.
back to the Metro before we go.
Oh yeah, Metro.
Carolina's a wagon. Jersey's a wagon. You can't tell me as a fan base of the Rangers are good, but Rangers,
Back to the
Capitals,
Rangers.
Penguins, Islanders. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck any of those teams are going to be. If they're going to be good, if they're going to be bad. There's just a million question marks over there.
I think
That's my
Penguins will
final
be
statement.
better in caps. But
I
then you
do-
have to look, if they're not going to be in the top three, you have to be a wild card, right? And then you have to look at other teams, right, Murr? You got to look at Detroit, your team. You got to look at Buffalo, your team.
Buffalo's my
getting
team.
in the playoffs.
Yep. I'm telling don't in the Metro, don't worry about Columbus. They got the new coach. Werenski's going to be healthy. Fantilli's the player we all think he is.
I'm
Don't
all
sleep
in on
them.
Buffalo this coming season.
Oh, I'm
man.
Buffalo.
Me
I
too.
already talked
this
to a guy with the
Levi kid's
organization.
going to be
Yep.
shooting Roman
To get us some
candles out of
merch.
his ass in that crease this year.
We got Chiclets Cup out there to get us ready for the Sabres.
Buffalo's two goalies though are Levi and is it Leco?
Bring,
They
bring
signed
Anderson
Kokoski.
back for 50th year. 50-year-old goalie.
No,
They
who's the
have
other
that-
guy there?
They
He's
got
like a
that,
Finnish guy.
nickname guy, yeah.
Oh, Ugo
Yeah.
Pekka Lokanen there.
Yeah, so
Pekka
that's-
Luukkonen,
That's two pretty young goalies, one coming out of college. So
UPL.
that's kind of the question mark. But
They got to
Buffalo's
get Gibson.
roster-
They got to get Gibson there.
I don't know.
Ooh.
With Levi
Or
out, yeah.
Hellebuck. Hellebuck's on the move
Ooh.
too.
By the way, boys, talk to Hellebuck. Almost
Ooh.
took a lot of offense in terms of. I thought we'd asked him to be on. He took offense that he's never been on Spittin Chiclets. He will be a member, or not a member.
Wow.
He'll be a guest of Spittin Chiclets.
Hellebuck said that?
Yep.
What do you
Oh,
say?
that's a
He's like, I
huge
can't believe you
kid.
guys never asked me to come on.
And he's
I got
the
to get
man
on there.
too. I'd never met him. Great guy.
Anybody else you guys talk to that wants to come on? Bedard's been banned, by the way. We had a powwow about it. Connor Bedard.
RA got Lou is cracked for the weekend, so he's coming on now too. We can get Islanders guys now.
Hellebuck real quick on Broadway one night. I fucking said hello to him. I didn't really chat with him much though.
He's like, oh, a homeless guy just said.
Who else did you guys talk to on the red carpet?
Oh, I talked to Bedard. I talked to Pasta. I talked to Monty. And
who else did we have?
Letang.
We got Letang. Kachuk. We got
Pasta.
What else did we get there? We got Pasta. Then we got Clayton Keller.
Clayton Keller was a good one. I went on Oilers TV. I want to see how that came out. I was feeling pretty good during that interview. We
so
kind of got
Bedard's
shriveled by a
banned?
bunch of guys.
Bedard's really banned. Eh?
I put the ban on Bedard.
Yeah. Okay.
And if anyone
Nice guy.
should have not put the ban on him, it was me, considering he picked you over me to start a team.
Well, that's
Still
why I
not
think
over
we
that
all
one.
decided that he was on the bans list. Do
Thanks,
not
Chris.
fly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about how he's no longer with Bauer? That was big news.
I don't think it's official yet, though. He hasn't signed the deal. So apparently Sherwood's offered him $1 million a year.
$1
Wow.
And Sherwood has Kachuk. So like I remember when Kachuk was using those sticks and gloves, I was like, wow.
This is where it fucks you up, boys, though. This is these side deals. This is what the trainers used to tell me.
Exactly. Hey, listen. Side deal was me signing for combat hockey sticks, making 10 grand cash. And also the fact that Yager was using them at the time, I was like, fuck it. I'll use what Yager's using to make an extra 10 grand.
But if you're used to using something all the time and you're an elite guy, take the money for that or stick with what you like.
Stick with what got you there.
Yes.
I agree, especially if you're Connor Bedard, but Sherwood ain't they've been around for a long time, right? So maybe they figured out the one-piece stick, but you got to think that's his tool. That's his thing that makes him his bread and butter. So switching sticks is not exactly maybe the smartest decision, is what you're saying, for even if it's $1 million a year.
Guy's going to be rich.
And I was talking to someone at Bauer who mentioned that he has an incredibly complicated stick. Like he's very, very, very particular about his stick. So he was saying like they were so shocked that he went to Sherwood just because of like how like anal he is about his stick. So I think that's something you should see in the first 10 to 15 games of the season if he struggles a bit.
Okay, so under/over this year.
I don't think it's
28 goals. Connor Bedard.
Bedard? Oh, fuck, way over. Give me a lightning
You
bet
guys
over.
think he's
Really?
going to hop in?
I don't think. I think he'll get 25.
What?
All right, I think 30 would be
I would be surprised
with
if he
everyone
breaks 40.
says about his shot, dude.
Yeah,
he's
he's
going
got
to
a
play
shot. I
22
don't
minutes
know.
a night.
He's
every
not going to be
power
that
play.
good.
I think he's going to get
Matt.
35 goals.
I think I said today on the Chiclets tweet they sent out, he's going to do 40. I think I said 42 goals, 46 assists, 88 points.
What?
What are you crazy? I'm like,
I
but
got
he's
it going the other way. He's going to have way more goals than assists.
okay.
For the reason that he's not playing with anybody. And everybody's just going to be looking to feed it to him on the power play.
How
I
about
got
the
him.
worm?
I
How
would
about
go
Perry
30 and
getting 4
20.
million?
30 and or 35
Yeah,
and
like
30.
how many points there? Murr, how many points?
I guess I would
55
go
over
I'd go
under.
35 and
60?
30. So 65 would be my
65.
I mean, the last, say 30 years, he's like the number 2 prospect of the last 30 years. You see his highlights. How could you not
I know,
think this
he's
kid's going
sick.
to do it? I mean, he should translate over.
He's more anticipated, but you would assume a better statistical season than Matthews coming into his first year?
I wasn't taking Matthews into account. Just that he's that good. They're probably going to pick up a few more guys. I know the team's not great now, but he's the type of player who makes everyone around him better. I mean, Team Wislani's got 76 goals when he was a rookie. You look at all those guys that are, I know, scoring was higher.
Goalies wore
but
The
magazines
regular
and phone
season was
books
a
for
beer
Pats.
league this year. They're scoring. It's all power plays. That's what it was, a beer league, the regular season. We forget because the playoffs got back to old school hockey.
How many did Matthews get his rookie year?
I'm not sure.
He had 4 first game. I remember that.
Yeah, I would say 32. I was going to ask you guys, what do you think the under/over is set at Bedard for next year? Would it be more like 32? I said 28 as the under/over. Is that too low?
Matthews had 40 his first year.
Suck on that.
So if Matthews can get 40, you know what? Matthews' season 40 and 29. That kind of sounds like pretty legit, right?
Mm-hmm.
More goals than assists, like Murr's saying. Right around 65, 70 points and gets his 35 to 40 goals. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So I'd say the over-under on goals for him is 31. And then over-under on points is like 69.
That's a great number.
We should get this on the Barstool Sportsbook.
All right.
Just go Chiclets odds.
And if
Let's
he's
do
as
it.
good as everyone says, we just all pound the over and laugh as we watch
So
him
let's
get-
look at this. He'll be playing with Taylor Hall, right? They got Hall. Who else is there that he's going to play with on the other
Worm.
side?
The Worm got $4
Corey
million
Perry will
bucks.
go up to the first line with those two. Two skilled speedsters with like a skilled net front guy.
Jones running the top.
Jones
on the PP,
running the top.
walking the
PP.
line.
Okay.
Opening
okay.
the
It's
hips.
starting to look a little bit better, actually. It's starting to look okay on
All that
special
junk
teams.
time at the end of games, pulled the goalie. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of minuses, but he'll pick up some extra goals there.
You know who we got to get into is, and I would say we could talk to RA about him, but he's a Fugazi fan, is the Bruins. I mean, I know RA's a Panthers guy now, but the Bruins kind of look like shit right now, no, Biz? I love Luch going back.
They got goaltending. They got a strong top four back end. They got a lot of holes up the middle now. That assuming that Krejci and Bergeron don't come back.
If they don't come back, they're fucked.
I would say they're a team that could fight for their playoff lives and be a wild
Here
card.
goes the fanboy. He came in too.
Well, are they that fucked though, Wicks? I think the best they looked all season, not all season, but the best they looked in the playoffs was games 3 and 4 when Coyle and Zaka were up the 1-2 up the middle.
Yeah, when they had Hall and Bertuzzi lighting it up.
Yeah, they don't have those two players anymore.
They brought in JVR.
They lost Orlov.
But they're still playing alongside guys like Pasternak and Marchand and DeBrus. Like it's still a loaded roster.
Dude, if it's Coyle, Zaka as your number 1 and number 2 center,
they'll bring back Bergeron. And we'll go Bergeron, Zaka, Coyle.
I think you're fighting for you'd say they're not going to be fighting for a wild card and they're guaranteed in the top 3 of that division.
No, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think it's.
I see wild card.
Yeah, I can see them being a wild card team.
So what's that division?
I can see one of those goalies still being moved too. They're still up to something. Those Bruins are doing something.
Toronto's
like
winning
that's not happening.
Toronto's
though,
winning that division. I think actually 2 of the 3, Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, will get in. If not all 3, man. Korpisalo and Ottawa is huge.
Ottawa's good, man.
Tampa looks different too. Although the thing about Tampa, like Cirelli, Kucherov, Stamkos, Hedman, Cernak, Vasilevsky, they're fine. They're top 3 in Atlantic still, no doubt in my mind. And then that third team, I don't know, man. It's just it's such a crazy year based on the cap restrictions and like all the changes going around that it's hard to judge right now in terms of. And it'll be a little easier come September when the rest of the signings and things get figured out. But I don't know. I just think there'll be big jump ups from those 3 teams.
Yeah, it's still only July 5th. I didn't expect anything much out of the Bees. I mean, JVI, it's obviously a low risk, high return possibly if he can get a little form back. He's been in Philly, 7 years, 6 years. They've been terrible. Like, you got to lose your passion for the game a little bit. Chad and Kirk, probably a depth move. I didn't expect a ton, but like Gridley just said, you got Pasta, you got Marchand, you got Lindholm, McAvoy, 2 good goalies. I mean, they're not like going to fall off the face of the earth here. They're going to try to tinker. I mean, they're in cap jail right now because they've been going up for the last fucking decade, giving up all the draft picks. But I'm not like waving the white flag or anything yet, by any chance at all. All right. Let's see here. The big rig got traded. We got to mention that. Our buddy Pat Maroon and a prospect Maxime Kajovic went to Minnesota. Tampa's going to keep 20% of the salary. He's basically going to essentially replace Revo. Would you agree with that, Ami? It's that kind of locker room glue guy we talked about earlier. Playing the parties,
totally.
Fight when you have to.
Fight when you have to, be a beauty, eat it up along the boards, jump out in front of the net, circling around down there, setting up the next shift. That's his move. That's what he does. They hang on to pucks. They play ugly hockey a little bit that way. They will lose a little bit in regards to skating. I think Revo can get going a little bit better, obviously, than the big rig with his legs. So, but still the same kind of presence I think Billy G will be looking for in replacing that there for sure.
Merles, we got to talk about the Rangers. They didn't do any big ticket moves.
Frauds.
I'm off
Back
the
to
Rangers.
being frauds.
Frauds. Well, let's see what they had. Let's see. Blake Wheeler, cheap money, 1 year, 1.1 mil after 13 years with Winnipeg/Atlanta.
Could be a great deal.
Yeah,
Still
great deal.
55 points, 72 games last year. Also brought in Nicky Bones, Gustafson, the defenseman from Washington, and Jonathan Quick for a 1 year, $925,000 deal to back up Shesterkin. I struggle with that name. what's your take on all these moves, Merles?
Yeah, I mean, Drury's a genius. He's a winner. He knows what he's doing. Quickie, he's going home. He gets to play for his hometown team for another year, but I am off the Rangers because of the coach hiring. It's been well documented, but the Rangers will be back. They'll be a playoff team again, but I will not be fanboying them this spring.
All right, a little further upstate. Sabres, nice move. Eric Johnson, 1 year, $3.25 million. This is a great deal with like Owen Power, Rasmus Dahlin. He's got the cup pedigree. He just seems like a great teammate, like a hot shit type of guy you want in the locker room.
Yeah, I love this signing. It's perfect for them. Older guy, veteran guy. He loves horse racing. He had his horse McKinnon run yesterday. Didn't do the job for us, but he'll be up in Saratoga this summer. If he's up here and listening the next 2 weeks, invite me into the owner's box with you. I'll come and talk Sabres hockey with you because I'm officially Sabres guy for next season. And great signing. I know he had a hard time leaving Colorado. He was a little sad about it, but he knows the business. So
He named a horse Pink Whitney.
is that who is? I saw the horse Pink Whitney. Is that his too?
Yeah, that's his horse.
A little legend.
I think its first race was the other day.
Yeah.
Merles, what you think? Connor Clifton, 3 years, $10 million. A little more than you thought, or
I would have thought so, but I mean, as an old Bruins guy, you got to tell me more about him. I thought he was okay, but that's a lot of money.
I think their D looks pretty good though.
I like
Sabres did great.
Samuelson, Dahlin, Power, Clifton, Labushkin, and Johnson. I mean, that's pretty rock solid top 6 guys right there.
We're kicking off the season there for Chiclets Cup too. This is going to be a great start to the year. I mean, we look back on this last year, like going to Pittsburgh for the live show. We did the Boston live show at the Winter Classic. Like, it was a pretty fun year. We got some real fun shit planned for next year. Kick things off with Chiclets Cup in Buffalo. We got All-Star in Toronto. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
It's July 5th, and I'm already petrified of Buffalo in October.
Me too. Me too.
All right. We talked about Riley Smith earlier, going from Vegas to Pittsburgh. Vegas got a 3rd-round pick in 24 for him. They had to can't talk. They had to make room to get him out of there for what's-his-face, Aiden Hill and Ivan Barbashev. 2 playoff heroes for them. Hill got 2 years, $9.8 million. I don't think he's got that much. Barbashev, 5 years, $25 million. That was your guy, the cigarette machine. Did you expect him to get about that? A little more, a little less?
Yeah, I thought it was a great deal for both sides. He's a good, solid top 6 guy who can do a lot of things. He's a playoff proven player, and this is a guy a couple of years ago who had 60 points in the regular season. Like, that's a big year. And now that he's got the chemistry with Marchie and Eichel, like, who knows? Maybe he could be a 60-point guy during the regular season, and you got a guy at $5 million. So I love it. As far as Hill, I mean, you just never know with these goalies, right? So you probably don't want to commit as long, but yet, try to get away with not paying him, too much. But what's he going to be pulling in? Just over 4.5?
It's 4.9 a year, 2 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can have 2 good goalies and come in around that, 8 million, 9 million number, I think you're really laughing given the amount of games that both goalies play now. So you don't want to be over committed. So to get him locked in at that number, I think is great. And I could see why some people would say like, ooh, that's a little bit higher amount than I wanted, but I'd rather have him shorter term for any of these goalies nowadays. It's a fucking zoo.
Agreed.
Well, we talked about Vegas when they won the cup, free lap dances or something like that at one of the strip joints. Well, TMZ reported Vegas sex workers offered the cup champs a free orgy. I'm not sure if you caught this one. Yeah, it was at the Chicken Ranch. They said, hey, guys, anything you want, come by anytime. The brothel's all yours, free of charge. It's on me. literally, probably.
During my playing days, if I was a Stanley Cup winner in the Vegas Golden Knights, I probably would have went to this.
You'd like be a sex worker by now if you won the cup.
Just, all right, remember the house of no return?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Biz, I saw you party in Nashville for 5 nights after being off for 6 months. I would not want to see you celebrating for a cup party after. Oh God.
Yeah, Alice Little. She claims to be the highest grossing sex worker in Nevada history. She's offering the most extravagant, orgiastic sex party the champs will ever experience.
How is she?
I didn't get a good look at it, but
What's the name?
Right.
What's
You've
the
been
name?
tugging it off to her since you read this article.
Me and
you sure you play for the team? Yeah, I'm the backup goalie.
So yeah, just another
stains all over his horn.
Wait, you look a lot like that TSA agent that Whit had.
Shit. Let's see. Oh, she also said she threw
Now
out
here's
the
your Bud
idea
Light ad.
of creating VIP cards specifically for Vegas, which will give them year-round complimentary access to the brothel's invite-only events and its eyes-wide-shut style sex sprees. So, I don't know. Y'all, balls in your court, Vegas. Holy shit, what a fucking town. All right, I'm not sure if you guys caught it earlier, but this is the last time this season we're going to have Biz and Whit on the show. We go to interview only after this. So, boys, I mean, what a fucking slobber knocker of a season. You just talked about the Pittsburgh trip, Biz, the Boston trip. I mean, we got some interviews that have bumped other interviews out of the top 10. Forsberg, Yaga, Barkley. We got one coming up soon that might knock another couple of interviews out. So, Biz, let's go to you for some comments on the season before we make a few more announcements.
I mean, yeah, like when the season starts, boys, we're dialed in for the entire time. So it's a good, 9 and a half month rip where we're just kind of zoned in. But it's nice to, when we finally finish all the hockey and the free agency, to kind of dial out a little bit, go enjoy life, go see family and friends. So I'm super pumped for all that shit. Go hiking, Whit. Go on some fancy fucking hikes, Mr. Granola Busy Boy. But like you said already, like an incredible year, a lot of fun trips, a lot of amazing content captured, sandbaggers, the behind the scenes stuff. A real cool thing is Merles and Army. You guys brought this new element to our podcast world as well. So just very grateful, very fired up. And then now with this time off, it gets us a little bit of time to focus on other ventures. Like I was off the sauce for a bit, but boys, we launched the beer this year. Big Deal Brewing, baby. And, we got more of these beers coming, and I'm going to be going on a couple. Oh, there it is. Merle's got the merch out. Shout out to Grinelli for putting that together. I'm going to be creating a lot of ideas in order to continue to grow this Big Deal Brewing brand during my off season. We are going to have a couple live events, one of which might be in my hometown of Welland, Ontario, so I will see you guys there. But all in all, thank all you boys. Whit, R.A., Grinelli, Fish, Quater, Pasha, Shauna Puzo. We did the FDNY NYPD broadcast, and it was a lot of their ideas in which it ended up even happening. So just an amazing team. Julia, Pink Whitney girl. We have so many amazing people on this staff that help this podcast run. So from the bottom of my heart, we had a great year. We love you guys for joining in, and we're gonna make good changes and come back bigger, better, and stronger than ever. So there's always room for improvement. So I've been long-winded here, but there was a lot to get off my plate. And another big announcement before I hand this over. Big Deal Brewing is now available in Ontario, my home province.
Boom.
Fucking rights. It's on the shelves. That's the 4th province now. We have Ontario. We have Nova Scotia that was just launched, I believe, about 10 days ago. We got Alberta. Yeehaw! And beautiful British Columbia, where I'll be spending a lot of my downtime in Vancouver and Victoria. So Ontario, Big Deal Brewing, the original Golden Ale.
Biz, great
Delicious.
job with the recap. It
Yeah,
was,
you love
a
that
hell
shit?
of a season. I think it is important to mention, like, Merle's came on, now Army's on. Game Notes was awesome.
Game
and the
Notes,
playoffs,
baby.
what you guys did, like, it's pretty cool to all of a sudden have this daily show at noon. When I wasn't on, I was checking in. I was watching all of them later that night if I was busy during the day. And we're not going to announce anything yet, but some pretty exciting ideas and possibilities for Game Notes next year after the way the playoffs went. So I'm pretty pumped up to have you guys in. Like, the fact I get to do this, or we get to do this, it's like so amazing to think about after you play, trying to find stuff, being lost a little bit, and like, we have this, and like meeting all the players I played with or against in Nashville. They're like, you guys are doing such a good job. Like, I give them like true thanks. Like, it means a lot. Like, if you listen once, if you listen every week, it's just amazing to have something to be like driven and enjoy doing when you're done playing. And so I want to thank you two guys. I want to thank all the teammates, Biz, RAG, you do a great job. All the guys behind the scenes. It is honestly like the best job in the world. It's so fun. I was sitting on the beach last night. We had the fireworks, sitting with Ryder and Wyatt. Kind of just like one of those moments. You're just so appreciative for everything you have in life, and very thankful for what we've kind of grown here and built. And I'm not even close to to thinking this is a finished product. I mean, none of us are going anywhere anytime soon. We love doing this show. I swear, like any job, right? There's times, and I'm not trying to say we're working 9 to 5s here, but there's times where you're just like, I don't know. But 90% of the time when we're recording, I'm so fired up right before the show to give out some fire hot takes, to talk some shit, tell some old stories. That's why, Merles, you and Army being around, like last week telling those AHL stories, it's so fun.
Yeah.
So the fans, without you guys, like literally this doesn't exist. So all you guys listening, I hope everyone enjoys their summer, and we appreciate it. Never, ever will we be able to describe how much we appreciate your support, truly.
Hey, you gotta give.
And all right, have fun at Passages in Malibu this summer.
Yeah. Hey, we forgot to shout out memes as well.
Memesy.
Do his voice. Do his voice.
Holy fuck, boys. I just want to say thanks because I was in London and like some days I was just packing a lipper and playing Chell, and like all of a sudden I make these memes and like I do the Twitter, and it's kind of pretty sick because like my mullet's growing and I'm getting recognized up there. So I really love you guys. And Whit, tell your wife thanks for making me that meatloaf that time. I actually saved some of it and I'm still eating it back home. I'm trying to save it.
That was fucking 10 out of 10.
Memesy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, boys, thank you guys, too, for being Merles. Merles, hey, unbelievable run, unbelievable ride. Started off as an idea, bringing us in, and it turned into something that we didn't believe. And G was with us every day during that, too, through the playoffs. It was so fun. I mean, you're walking down, me and Merles are walking down to our seats in Game 4 in Florida, and everyone's yelling, EBR, game notes. It was crazy. So, thank you for the ride on the first year. What it will be.
Just the beginning, boys.
Just the beginning.
Merles, our Army, you became an American citizen this year too.
I celebrated that with you guys. Yeah, with you guys.
By the way, I was thinking in terms of some people say, like, how long will this go? So I was saying last night, actually, 1,000 games played is like, if you play 1,000 games in the NHL, I feel like even NHL players, that's the thing where you're like, holy fuck. Like, guys who played in the NHL have so much respect for people who played 1,000 games. It's just a crazy number. This is episode 451. So I'd just like to say, I'd love to get 1,000 of these things, boys. We none of us, I don't think our games combined reach 1,000 in the NHL. So let's try to get that number in our heads now in terms of Chiclets Nation.
Yep.
All right.
This year will be episode 500, so I don't know what we got planned yet for that. The great fans will find out.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you guys for bringing me in. Thanks to all the fans. I mean, it's crazy how big Chiclets is. I was on the kiddie fishing trip out in Cape Cod, and I'm walking on with my big deal brew, and this girl, Sam, goes, oh, what I wouldn't do for a big deal brew. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't bring any with me. And then she's like, wait a minute, like, Merles? And I'm like... So she was all fired up. Like, she was asking me all about, is there a new big deal brew coming? Like, we got to get some more out here, blah, blah, blah. So it's really amazing what you guys have grown. Thanks for being a part of it.
What a family. Yep.
And Vegas and 5.
What a big deal brew shout out by Merles, too. We're going to get you sponsored.
Yeah.
All right, just
guys.
A couple last ones here. With thanks to Church and Union. That was the other restaurant that took care of us.
Oh,
we mentioned
Christ's
Black.
sake.
No,
This
come on.
dinner,
Holy
this dinner.
God.
I can't hear more about
Hey,
this.
You better
local
get the
dinner.
fucking 25% promo code.
Ty at the Apple Store in Nashville for hooking me
What
up with
the
that.
fuck?
Right. No, and as we previously announced, Chiclets Cup is coming back to Buffalo. Going to be the October 5th through 7th. Registration info, G's coming soon, right? Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. Chicletscup.com. Stay tuned for more info.
And just one last word on the fans. I mean, you guys already said kind of what I wanted to, but it's not only like the great fans that support us too. Like, we've done so many things over the years, 7.5 years, dozens of events, and like, they're fucking great people, man. And I'm not like being a corny or a kiss ass. We never have any bullshit. We never have any drama. There's never any fights. And we hang out with these people. We meet them on. They're just fucking good shits. I think the vibe of the show like conveys to the people. I mean, and we love our fans, man. We never get enough of them. So thanks for letting us do this. Because without you guys, gals, we're nothing. So thank you for being who you are, for supporting us. And we love you. And
we're going to have our first fight at Chiclets Cup in Buffalo in October. Me and fucking like Noseface when I'm pounding his face into the fucking cement, baby. I'm coming back. Back for vengeance.
As I thank you all, I'm also looking for a favor. My passport expires August 19th. I'm going to Ireland September 23rd. If anyone out there could help me expedite that process.
Buffalo.
13
got you,
weeks.
Whit.
Right
I
now,
got
it's
you.
13-week wait, Whit.
Yeah, so that's why I'm fucked.
I can teach you.
I got you, Whit. I got you.
All right.
This happened to me right before I went to Italy. I got you. I promise you I got you. I know a senator.
I'm
I'll say
going
that.
Ireland golf trip, Saturday to Saturday, September 23rd to 30th. Then I'm going the next day to Rome for the final round of the Ryder Cup. Then I fly home Tuesday because we have to record Monday, and then I go to Buffalo. So I'm going to have the same voice I had at the end of Nashville when I get to Buffalo, but I'm still excited, boys.
Good thing you don't do anything when you go to those.
First vacation of the year. All right, boys. See you guys.
See you later.
Take
Love
care.
you all.
What a
Peace.
season.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.